A circuit that first hosted a Formula 3 car race in August of 1953 is where we will conclude one of our most historic seasons here at AMX. It is the finale of the AMX 1 Assetto Corsa Competizione Championship. It is live here from Alton Park. We're in the BMW M2 CS here for this evening. It is a very intriguing car and track combination. We've had many of them across the course of the season, but it all concludes here. It is a very important evening for our ACC racers. Hi folks, it's a pleasure to have you along with me. My name is Evan Dalton, and you know if I'm wearing a tie, it's probably a special occasion. So for a special occasion, we needed a special man to join me here on a Sunday evening. It's a man who you've seen on the track, you've seen in the commentary box. It is Mr. Kevin Garcia. Kevin, how are you keeping? And most importantly, are you looking forward to this evening?
Thanks for that intro, Evan. Absolutely, I am so excited for today's race. So I know there's been a lot of stuff going on all season, and it seemed like pretty early on that we may have had a champion, but unfortunately for that particular driver, he has missed a couple races. And of course, I am talking about Lloyd Renier, the person who has been leading all season long, but about halfway through the season, we had a newcomer coming on of Simone Seminaro, who is now only 8.5 points off of that championship spot. So today we should absolutely see those two battling it out for the championship. So I love championships like this, finales. You couldn't ask for a greater finale of two amazing drivers battling it out.
Yes, we have a really splendid evening ahead of us, folks. Before we get into the main action of tonight, we'd like to remind you to check out all our social channels where the Season 4 content will be coming up soon. The guys are doing a great job behind the scenes on publishing all the fantastic action. So you can see just below me, Instagram, Twitter, X, Discord, YouTube, amxrace.com and TikTok, where you can find all your AMX action. We have a very important race coming up. As Kevin mentioned, we have a fantastic championship battle coming up. We also have something big to tell you, but before that, of course, we have to get into just a little bit of housekeeping and run you through the order at play. So, for the second final time, actually, we do have a race coming up later, of course. It is our housekeeping, AMX Global League Season 4. We started on January 27th. We end today, April 21st. The season prize pool of $20,000 and some next level racing gear is, it's almost all been distributed. The most races in a year, we've had a fantastic variety of car and track combinations. You're well used to it now because you're all big fans of the ACC Championship, but it's a 20-minute qualifier followed by a 40-minute race with one mandatory pit stop. Very important pit stop, of course, because you can pick up some penalties there. Driver cams required, absolutely a requirement, will remain a requirement, dare I say, for the rest of time here in AMX. You can join via link on AMX Discord or amxrace.com. Balances over $100 paid out each month. We race on Tuesday, Saturday and Sunday, and as always, if you want to race at any time, you can sign up at amxrace.com. Here's our schedule then. It is AMX 1 at 5:50 p.m. That is GMT on Tuesdays, Saturdays and Sundays, and then AMX 10 at 7:20 p.m. GMT at Tuesdays, Saturdays and Sundays, I should say. They're all timings you are well used to here, but I'm sure you're well used to the next item as well, of course. We have our prize pools coming up. So, as you know, no prize pool or points for qualifying, but we do have plenty for the race. $25 if you finish first, 20 for second, then it is 15 for third, 7 for fourth, 6 for fifth, and then it is 5 for sixth, 4 for seventh, 350 for eighth, 3 for 9, then it is 252, 125, 175 cents, 50 cents, and quite crucially here this evening, $4 for a fastest lap. That is very crucial considering how tight the championship is. And for those asking, yes, I do have the chat coming across the bottom of my screen. Well, here is how AMX1 stands overall then. It is Diogo Villarreal who leads ahead of Maurizio Lozano. This is, of course, the overall AMX1 standings, not just our ACC tier here. We'll get to those in a moment. Facundo Rango in third, followed by Lois Reginier and Simone Seminara, our ACC boys, in fourth and fifth. Connor Healy in sixth with Gerardo Ramos in seventh. Then it is Lautaro Gayoso, Lucas Verla, Nico Godoy, Leo Mora, Santiago Barrios. That is your top 12. No movements from the last time you saw these. Those guys well cemented in their positions at this point. Here is your ACC standings then, and you can see we've had a lot of movers and shakers from last week's round. Lorenzo Magnani jumping up the order, Fabian Noger losing spots, Imran Zuhali down 2 spots as well, Maurizio Lozano down 1, and Thomas Laudapita up 6 spots. Absolutely incredible. But the real battle here today is that battle for the GT Light Pro between Simone Seminara and Lois Reginier. 130.5 points for Lois Reginier, 122 for Simone Seminara. So a very important battle. Simone with the work to do. Lois has the cards in his hand. But it's going to be a very, very competitive occasion here at Oulton Park. And of course, a bit of big news for you. Season 5 is coming soon here on AMX. And my oh my, is it just truly fantastic. We have some big races. AMX 20. Yes, AMX 20. Special events with a $1,000 prize pool. Insane. No limits. You can join any race. You can do as many races on the one day as you want. We'll have new tiers. We'll have a new schedule. We're even going to bring pit stops in. And dare I say, we might have a little bit of that new iRacing rain as well. Incredible season coming up here on AMX on Season 5. The break is not going to be that long, I'm told. It's going to be truly, truly fantastic. But we still do have 2 fabulous races here this evening, folks. So we're going to review the first of those here on ACC. I'm going to hand it over to Kevin to run you through the BMW M2 CS and Oulton Park.
And of course, today out here, like you just mentioned, the BMW M2 CS. I hopped in here earlier. I wasn't sure if I wasn't going to be up here in the booth today. I was hopefully going to be out on the track. But we are out here at Oulton Park, and I was mentioning this earlier. I was surprised that we weren't out here a little bit more. This is such an amazing track out in Little Budworth, England. Of course, opened back in 1953, has a track length of about 4.3 kilometers, and for my fellow Americans out there, that's roughly 2.7 miles. So it's a little bit of a shorter track, as you can see here from some of these overhead shots as well. It's a little bit narrower, but that is perfect for today's car combination. Of course, like we mentioned, again, the BMW M2 CS. This has become one of my favorite cars on ACC. So I haven't raced that much, but this is definitely a favorite already. Coming in with 365 horsepower, rear wheel drive. It's only weighing about 1,500 kilos, a little bit over at 1,535 with the sequential gearbox. So like I mentioned, a perfect pairing, Oulton Park, BMW M2 CS. These cars get a little bit rowdy. You know, they are not the most amount of horsepower, but these drivers out here are absolutely squeezing every little ounce of power that they can out of it, any little bit. So I expect, now that we go into our qualifying, we're going to see some pretty close competition up towards the top, and it's going to lead to some amazing battles throughout. Evan, what are you excited to see today?
I'm excited to see some fantastic racing in this fantastic car around a fantastic track, and I think we're going to have a fabulous battle. This is Oulton Park, of course, located in the village of Little Budworth. It is about 21 kilometres from Chester City, which I'm surprised it's called a city actually when I was researching, but about 21 from Chester City. It's really a sort of a tight-knit circuit, very close. The grass is very close, the curbs can get high, they can get low, and yeah, it's going to be fantastic qualifying. I do believe we have more than 6 drivers. I just don't think that any have set times yet, or going by my timing screen, we do have more than 6 drivers, and they will hopefully provide a good race. That's what I'm excited for. Qualifying is underway now. It is currently Simone Seminara, 0.7 of a second quicker than Lois Reginier. That's crucial. He needs the points. He needs probably to take a win here if he wants to try take this ACC title.
And of course, like we've seen earlier, there's only an 8.5 point gap between the top two drivers. So not only will Seminara have to come away with a win here if he wants to do it, but he'll have to come away by over 8.5 points. So right now, just a reminder, we see him, if it's how the qualifying sits right now, of Seminara sitting in first place, but only seeing Lloyd just one place behind him in second. If this is what we are to expect for our race, it should make it very interesting, because then that 8.5 point deficit would only go down to about a 3.5 point deficit. So again, anything can happen, especially here. I was driving this course earlier today just to get a little bit of a feel of what these drivers are going to be going through. And that is one of those things that, of course, you can see right here, those drivers getting really close. So great track car combination. I know I sound like a broken record by now, but I can't stop saying it because this is such a fun car for this track. The last time we were here was towards the beginning of the season, actually, for another AMX1 race with the MX-5s. And of course, those also being a little bit less horsepower vehicle, it just makes for some absolutely great close combat all the way throughout the entire race. So even though we're not doing 2 20-minute heats and we are doing the 40-minute heats in ACC, I still expect there to be plenty of battles. Of course, we've seen that all season long, so I wouldn't see anything less. But like we mentioned right here, how close that grass is on the track. If these guys try to battle it out a little bit too hard, or someone gets punted in the grass, someone tries to pass a little bit too much, that grass is way slipperier than it looks. So it will be very easy if those drivers get some of that tire onto the grass, they can spin out super easy. So we'll just have to wait and see. Again, right now, 8 minutes left in our qualifying session.
I saw someone in the stream chat saying, is that Corentin Guinness in seventh? No, it's Facundo Guinness. I believe it's pronounced the same, but currently in seventh is Facundo. This is Lois Reginaire, currently in second position from Nanterre, France. A man looking to wrap up the ACC title here today. He's the man with the points. He's the man Seminara needs to beat, and needs to beat by more than one position, really. Well, depending on that position, of course. Well, he's currently 7/10 of a second off Simone, but I don't think he has got a proper time on the board yet. Not long left to go in qualifying, mind you. So it is it's going to be hectic action here at Oulton Park. You might have noticed the Parma Sport sponsor boards around the circuit. There's quite a lot of them. That's because in 2004 a consortium owned by Jonathan Parmer did purchase ownership of the circuit. Yes, he is related to Jolyon Parmer. He's his dad, as it is a party in the Kioski household. That is some fantastic RGB lighting on that rig.
Yeah, I'm absolutely loving that background from Kioski. I don't know, as a driver, like, if those flashing lights, hey man, are they helping, or are they a little bit distracting? I mean, I guess we'll have to see how he performs today, just to see, you know, are those lights in the background going to help out a little bit? I know we've seen some of the things too of, we love, of course, having the driver cams on here, seeing the expressions of these drivers, but also every now and then we kind of like to take a peek in the back as he goes off the course, and right there into that 90-degree turn, or that sharp right-hander right there. I had some issues with that in practice too, so I will say, if you're not very, very comfortable in these cars on this track, that is one corner that we will have to look out for during the race, because like I said, I did probably about 30 laps earlier today, just trying to get a little bit of a feel for the course. And that last corner, so many times, about half of the laps, either I just barely went a little bit too wide, or you get a little bit too much speed in there, and off into the sand traps you go. But here we can see Leo Mora is currently in the pits, so he's currently about 3.8 seconds off the next time. So we see some of these drivers, again, qualifying. We still have a little bit over 5 minutes left, and it looks like right now the average, we're having to see these drivers try to keep it under a minute 50. Of course, Seminara there with a 1:45.9, which is absolutely flying through this track and car combination. As we can see, Diego Villarreal, one of our most consistent drivers, been showing up all season long, been showing up last season, so a lot of people know him, a lot of people cheering him on as well. But we'll have to see, as Villarreal currently sitting in 4th place, as we're nearly 5 minutes left into their qualifying session.
Diogo going for a bit of a title of his own, remember. He's going for the overall AMX1 championship. So very intriguing to see what he can do on that regard. Diogo Villarreal. He's heading down towards the first corner. Then this is down towards the Old Hall corner of turn number 1. It's a very tricky right-hander to start the lap here. Not maybe the best overtaking opportunity, but that leads you down the avenue down towards turn number 2 of Denton's, which is a fabulous corner indeed. Absolutely flat out in these cars, but still quite tricky. Then you're braking for Cascades of turn number 3 as we look at Santiago Barrios, currently 3rd in qualifying. We have the face camera from Santiago. It was a couple of weeks ago where all the drivers decided they wanted to start messing with us on the face cameras. They're all behaving here this evening because they're all very much taking part in qualifying. The time is not necessarily changing, however. The gap's kind of staying the same. Here comes Santiago towards the start-finish line. He is, I believe, just starting a lap. Let's ride on board with the Argentine then, down in towards this turn number 1 of Old Hall Corner, and heading down the avenue towards turn number 2 at Denton's. You'll see here where it's a fabulous right-hander, absolutely flat out, but still a fabulous right-hander nonetheless, because it's downhill braking for the long sweeping left of Cascades. It seems like it's never ending, but you just want to put the power up out there where you see the curb, down towards Lakeside Way, in towards the island bend at turn number 4. Many variations here. There's a hairpin that can usually go on your right hand side. These guys will be heading down the island bend, which is really never ending, in towards the Shell Oil corner. Yes, named after the company Shell Oils, of course. That is a sort of an up and down sweeping corner. It's slightly banked, but still fantastic nonetheless. Then you're in towards the Britain section, through 6 into 7, bounce it over 8, get the power down as you're heading through 9. Very difficult section down towards Hilltop, sometimes known as Foster's, but Hilltop the official name. In towards the Knickerbocker chicanes through turn 10. Bump it over the curb a little bit. Oh, there's something flying in the air there as they head through Hillslop and then in towards the right-hander at Knickerbocker. Very funny story about that corner. I won't be saying it here for the sake of my job. You can Google that if you like. And it's down through Clay Hill in towards the Water Tower. Fabulous thing about British racing facilities is they all have fabulous corner names. Then you're in towards Druids, one of the most difficult corners on the calendar, I'd say, almost. You've got to just get it perfect through there. You might see cars off on the right-hand side, down under the Warwick Bridge, in towards Lodge Corner, which is the final corner here, and then you're absolutely flat out towards the line. Get up the gears. In a bit of slipstream is Santiago Barrios. It's been a very good lap by him, mind you. Through Dearly, flat out in any sort of racing car, flat out in a road car as well. Across the start-finish line, Santiago will gain a couple of tenths of a second. Nothing major. He stays 3rd.
That was a great lap, and I'd say probably one of the best track overviews that we've seen. If that is one thing, I can see the chat loving it too. Chat scene in here. I agree with you guys. Evan, you know, I'm gonna brag on you just a little bit. You are one of the best track guides that I think we've ever seen out here. So I'm just gonna say it. In all of sim racing, you may be one of the best track guides. I'm just gonna call it out since now. But anyways, back to what is going on back on the track. Back to what's going on the track. So right now we're in the final couple minutes, so we'll have to see. It looks like right now Seminara just coming across out here. We can see to this next right-hand turn. So these last few drivers, there's a couple, Villarreal and Mura, currently in the pits, so they will not have enough time to set one more lap. So we'll just have to wait on board here of who may possibly be cutting it very close. And like we've seen Seminara saying a 145, but where he currently is on the track, he may be cutting it just a little bit too close. So one thing I like that you mentioned earlier, Evan, was seeing some of these drivers, because I know some of these drivers from previous streams that they have us in their ear. They can hear us. A big shout out to all of the drivers. You guys have been wonderful all season long. You guys have been putting up some great battles, really making our job really easy, really enjoyable. It's been so great. And also for everyone out there, our viewers and our drivers both, I mean, I really hope once we do get rocking into season 5 that we can get all of these drivers and more, a lot more viewership. Like we said, things have absolutely taken a turn this season, so anything can happen at any point during the season. Like we said, just even with the leader, it looked like Lloyd Renier was about to come away with the championship, but him missing any races with that hurt his points so bad right there, and that gave opportunity for Seminara to just come up super quick. And now, like we mentioned, 8.5 points. So really, right here tonight, it is going to be a battle for the ages. So that's what we love to see for finales. That's what we love to see as the final 5 seconds. It looks like whoever's coming across the finish line right now may be getting in, but we have about a minute for these drivers to get back into the pits, get ready, calm the nerves, maybe grab a little bit of water, whatever they need to do, quick bathroom break before we head onto the grid, getting ready for the green flag just moments away.
Well, qualifying was a fairly uncontested one. If your name is Simone Seminara, 6/10 on pole. Look, you can't really ask for more than that when you're in a title battle over at Lois Regnier. Simone, very quick driver, of course, and he's one to watch out here this evening. We're having one last overlook of this fabulous Oulton Park circuit. No, technically we're not. We always do get the cutscenes after the race as well. But before battle commences around this fabulous racing facility, 17 corners, 4.302 kilometers. Lap record held by a sim racer. Yes, the lap record at Oulton Park is held by Joseph Lowe, who's an F1 sim racer. He does race British GP3 as well, but he is a sim racer. I think, Kevin, we're in for a very interesting race, though.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. Like I said, this place, especially, so I've driven this car a couple of times. Last time that we had the BMW M2 CS vehicle, I believe we were out at Catalunya. So there we can see that one being a Grand Prix course. It has a little bit different surface, a little bit different, as we can see here. Our final result from qualifying of Seminara, again, able to rack in that first place, followed by second place of Renier. Third, Santiago Barrios. Fourth, we have Inez. Fifth place, Diego Villarreal. Sixth place, Mura. And in seventh, rounding it out, we have Kwiatkowski. So right here, there's only a few seconds separating all of our drivers. So again, anything can happen, especially now. It should be an interesting first lap. These guys, they got used to their warm tires, but I will say in these vehicles too, that back end likes to really get loose on this track. So we should see a very interesting first lap. And that too, if anyone has to change tires throughout the race, we should also see the tires on these. That rear end loves to get super tail happy on this track, which is very fun because it's so much fun trying to be right on that limit of grip. But at the same time, it makes it a little bit easier to accidentally bump into some of the other drivers. So we'll have to see, will there be some drama unfolding here early on? Will it go all the way until the last lap, the last couple of seconds? Stay tuned to find out as we are minutes away from going green out here at Oulton Park.
Yes, we are. While we are listening to some music, by the way, seeing as this is the season finale, I want to give a shout out to whoever makes the AMX playlists. The directors will tell you 90% of the time when there's a music playing, and I'm not talking, I'm just sat here absolutely bopping to it. So, really good. I believe there's a house music video with some onboards actually uploaded to the AMX channel, so make sure you go check that out as well as all our other social channels. We're getting ready to race here in this BMW M2. 365 brake horsepower, of course, as Kevin ran you through in the track and car guide. It has a M-twin power turbo technology. It's a direct injection with a Valvetronic, a fabulous car, as I believe now we are heading into the race. You can see the drivers there on your right hand side, Seminara on the top, Villarreal at the bottom. I recognise those two. I believe that's Barrios in third there. I will get better with the faces, but we're heading down towards the final corner now. Kevin, prediction from you quickly, Seminara or Regnier for the championship?
I mean, just seeing some of these guys battling it out on other tracks, I'm gonna have to say that Seminara might just have a slight lead, like we've seen right there in the qualifying. Seminara slightly ahead. So I'm going to have to go with Seminara on this, but we'll have to see where everyone finishes if it's going to be enough for a championship.
As we go racing for the final time in the ACC Championship here at Oulton Park, it's the two title protagonists, Simone Seminara and Lois Regnier, side by side in towards the first corner. It is going to be, however, a crash in the background for Diogo Villarreal. I believe Lois Regnier leads the race, but that is Leo Mora, actually, who's been caught up in that one with Diogo Villarreal. It's Lois Regnier, the STL esports driver, who's got ahead of Simone Seminara in the number 2. The number 2 man is looking to become number 1. He's going about it the right way. It's Regnier who leads Simone Seminara.
And right there, like I said, I had a feeling these guys got used to their warm tires, and these guys right here, first lap, we had a bit of an incident. So very unfortunate for Mura, as he's going to be having to claw his way back up to positions. But right now, as we can see the battle going on, we're on board with Seminara, but he is closely reeling in. So only 0.2 seconds right now separating these drivers. So this will be a battle of the wits, a battle of determination. As we can see, a lot of really good passing opportunities will happen. So I'd say as small of a track that this is, and as narrow as it may seem, there is still plenty of straights, plenty of very tight corners coming out of those straights as well. And every time that we see that, once these drivers really start getting comfortable about, a couple laps into the race, even towards the end of the race, where they know the absolute limits of the track, the absolute limits of the car, we should expect to see these guys probably going, like I said, almost all the way through. So one thing that has been come into play here too, that we have seen several times, is penalties. So these drivers, like we said, they're trying to push it to the absolute maximum limit of these vehicles, but you still got to be a little bit careful, especially with that mandatory pit stop. You have to be able to calm down whenever that happens. You're going in, make sure not to speed. We've seen leads change, we've seen races lost from some of those penalties. That, it's just unfortunate, but that's how focused you have to be as a driver if you want to come away on top.
Yes, absolutely correct, Kevin, as we do see Simone Seminara trying to push and get close to Lois Regnier at the top of the order. I think it's going to be a two-horse race for the win here. These guys have had clear pace over the rest of the field. Santiago Barrios in third, then it's Facundo Ganez in fourth, then it is Keiraski in fifth with Diogo Villarreal in sixth, and then Leo Mora in seventh spot. Not showing a time for him. Oh, it is now, I think, for Leo. He's had a bit of a rough start to the race. Leo has been consistent at times, but he's had a bit of misfortune as well. Owner of Omega Sim Race, of course, Leo Mora. He's quite good in sort of a touring car. You can see here in your picture what's happened. He's got onto the grass and he spun around. I don't think he was helped by Villarreal, as, oh my goodness me, Lois Regnier has just chopped off a bollard and then hit a hay bale. That's not ideal on the second lap of proceedings. That is going to be a bit of a frightful moment for Lois. A new race suit might be needed. But he's leading for now, and remember, even if Simone does finish in first and he finishes in second, he'll still win the championship. But I think it's in a racer's instinct, Kevin, and you might be able to confirm this, that you kind of want to win your championship deciding race.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, as great as it is, as we've seen some of the other drivers be able to win the championship even a week early, at some of them 2 weeks early, they were just a couple of points away from winning the championship. As great as that feels as a driver to know that you're absolutely dominated, I think it feels even better whenever you have such close competition like we have today. And seeing some of the chat in there, yeah, with some of these corners, I would say where some of these obstacles, of course, ACC trying to make these tracks look as realistic, as close to real life as they can. But some of those obstacles, I mean, I'm going to be on the driver's side of this, they might just get in your way a little bit, You want to be able to use all of the track while you're still within the track limits, and a couple of those obstacles in the way, believe it or not, the vehicles are still within the track limits when the outside of their car is hitting some of those things. So, although it may look like a possible penalty from some points of view, I can assure you that some of these things, they're very easy to hit on these tracks while you're still within the track limit. So that just goes to show that these drivers are absolutely pushing it to the very limits, as we see another pile hunt get taken out there. So again, I love seeing it though, because that way I know for sure these drivers are using every bit of the track. They say, hey, you know what? We had entry fees for this. We paid to get into this race. We paid to be on the track. We're going to use all of the track and then some.
I saw, that's a bit cornical, whoever from Santiago Barrios in front. I saw someone saying that Lois failed his driving exam. Bit of a random Evan trivia, I suppose. There's actually down the sideline, a bit of a load of those bollards. Someone hit all of them down on their driving exam. So it can happen, but in this battle of a third between Santiago Barrios and Facundo Ganez, it is an intriguing one. However, Facundo Ganez, I constantly just see it as sort of when you put Facundo Rago and Quarantine Ganez together. I'm not sure if that's just me commentating on those so many times last season, but it does seem like it. Simone is keeping with Lois here at the front. 0.6 of a second separates to 2. It's not a runaway race for Lois like last time, or like many a time. He won 3 of the first 5 rounds here in the ACC Championship. He's been put to the test here today. Someone asking, are they GT3 cars? No, they are technically GT4 cars. They are BMW M2 CS racing machines that we are racing here today. 34 minutes left on the clock. A pit stop still to go from all except Leo Mora. That's where the big dramas happen. Pit stops. We can see stop goes emerge very quickly. But for now, it's still looking like it's the Lois show at the front.
And just looking at some of these drivers too, I was just paying attention to Simone Seminaro, just trying to see what kind of wheelbase that he's running. I was looking, I'm not sure if that is one of the older Thrustmasters or if that is from the shape of it, but regardless, that is not a super expensive rig. So I mean, a lot of these people that, hey, if you want to get in here, especially for next season, once we start up the next season of AMX, which will be season 5, if you want to get in here, you know, we have people in here that are super quick, like Seminara, showing you don't have to have like this crazy $1,000, couple $1,000 rig. So I know some people that obviously we see that they stream or they race for a living, that, you know, they may be able to have that. They have these sponsors, but like we can see from Seminara, you don't have to have thousands of dollars in equipment just to be able to be super fast. He's showing that he has what he has, and he has learned to be able to put in extreme amount of time and skill into this to be one of the best of the best. But like we said right here, already 32 minutes left, so we're nearly 8 minutes into this race, and so far it has been a battle between your 2 leaders of Lloyd Renya and Simone Seminara the entire time. We called it before. We're going to expect to see a battle the whole race. I'm calling it now. We will have to see if one of them doesn't try to undercut the other during the pit stop. I know that comes into strategy a lot, of trying to get that undercut, trying to get maybe a little bit, but with it only being a 40-minute race, we'll have to see if any of these drivers, if they're wearing through the tires on these vehicles. It doesn't seem like so far, especially from the last race, that the tire wear has been that big of an issue. You know, some of the races too, we see that maybe they'll just get just a little bit of a splash and dash just to have a little bit more fuel, you know, maybe not even a liter of fuel added. But again, the strategy right now, how close these drivers are, I have a feeling strategy is where it's going to come down to the wire of who is going to take first place.
If you use Simone Seminara now, you're probably getting a little bit frustrated because there's literally nothing really you can do. You can pass Lois Visionaire and overtake him, win the race, but he'll still win the championship. You can't take a Senna approach or a Schumacher approach, because our stewards will crucify you, literally. So there's not much he can do. He's tasted competition so far. He's tasted victory in competitions, I should say, so far this year. The 2024 ACI Esports Italy Cup champion is Simone Seminara, from Italy, of course. He's up against the Frenchman of Lois Visionaire. Bit of a rivalry, I suppose. I think that's safe, you could say. It's the 2006 World Cup final all over again. France, however, winning this time round. So I think this could really be this close for the next 30 minutes. I don't really see what could separate these two. They're both as quick as each other. There's literally no difference whatsoever in the lap times. Seminara does have the quicker one at the time being, but he does have a slipstream, and we'll await and see the result in a couple of laps' time. Seminara a little bit closer this time round, but no moving towards the Shell Oils corner. He's going to have to think of something here, Kevin, because what he's doing so far is not working.
Yeah, that too. I mean, like we said, so some of these opportunities, these guys are extremely similar on their pace, on their lines. So like you said, that has to be just super frustrating for Seminara to try and look for any little bit, because of course the big thing is this being a little bit longer than some of our other races, it being a 40-minute race instead of a 20-minute race, is a lot of this you have to have a little bit more patience. You have to be able to wait for the driver ahead of you to just make the littlest mistake and capitalize on it. So I know we say that a lot, but I mean really some of these races that they're not quite an endurance race. We see another incident right there in the bottom right from Leo Mora, unfortunately just getting a little bit out of control and into the wall. Ooh, that looked like a bit of a tough hit right there. So we'll have to see. Hopefully that doesn't completely take him out of the race, but man, that was a bit of an ugly hit into the race. And now we see him actually dropping off the timing board. So we will have to check in with Leo Mora to kind of see what happened there. And yeah, he might just be out of this race.
I think he is out of this race. Leo Mora, very unfortunate of him. A man who's usually good in the GT4 car, depending on the sim. The IRB T1 2022 GT4 Touring Car Champion is Leo Mora, the Brazilian. Fortunately, today's not really his day around Oulton Park. Maybe a bit of a different circuit than he's used to racing on iRacing and on ACC, usually big, wide, expansive tracks. There's a nice little tight one here in the United Kingdom. It occupies the area formerly known, of course, as the Oulton Estate, so I'm sure there's a Grand Palace at some point on it. Battle between the top two, the closest in the field. Facundo Guinness and Santiago Barrios having their own battle for third and fourth, and then it's a bit of a gap between Villarreal and then a bit of a gap between Aski as well. Leo usually pops in the chat after races, so he might inform us on what's happened there. But 28 minutes to go, we're almost at the halfway mark. No pit stops for the 6 remaining in this race, a race of attrition as it seems. The absence of Leo Mora suddenly. In towards the Knickerbocker chicane then. Lois is just doing enough to stay ahead here. Slipstream not really aiding Simone Seminara too much, as we are now looking at 2 battles on the track at the same time. Picture in picture, you have your battle for P3 between Guinness and Barrios. Your main picture, Resner versus Seminara. Another fantastic job by the broadcast team.
And of course there, we love seeing all these battles throughout the entire grid. So that's one of the great things. Our viewers know it. We know it here up in the studio, and a lot of the drivers know it. Pretty much no matter what race you are in, as long as we have you drivers on there, there will always be a battle for position. So we always have, you know, depending on which drivers are in here, there's some drivers that are absolutely dominant at certain tracks. That some of them just kind of walk away with first, and there's that battle between second and third. But right now, like we see that battle for P3 going on. We see a lot of the AMX 10 races. I've said it before, but it's kind of weird of like AMX 10 races. We also see crazy battle for P5. Like it never fails. There's almost always a battle for P5. But nonetheless, back here into AMX 1. These guys, we have 27 minutes left in our race currently. And it looks like Seminara is slowly just getting right onto the rear end of that bumper of Lloyd Renier. So, like we said, a lot of this patience, maybe even if it's just, you know, not even tenths or hundredths, even if it's just, you know, maybe 100th every single lap that he can gain on the driver ahead of him, that will all add up throughout the race. So, again, the same thing going on for Barrios and Guinness. You know, Barrios looking to get a podium today. So if he can just slowly start reeling them in, we may have some door-to-door battles going on here pretty soon in the race. So again, battle for P1, battle for P3, but we're not even halfway through the race, so anything can happen.
Somebody in the stream chat saying Seminara is so going to win. Let us know down below who you're rooting for. I think I saw there was a bit of a friendly competition going on between a few friends at home watching. We are very thankful for your support here in the ACC Championship, especially myself and Kevin, who've casted a few races here. Kevin racing in a few, of course. But we're very thankful for your support. Coming up later, of course, we've AMX 10. That's a fabulous combination, which we'll run you through closer to the time. But we'll keep our eyes focused here on this battle between Lois Regner and Simone Seminara, the top 2 in the championship, the top 2 in the final race here at Oulton Park, as now everything is going in the way of Lois Regner. STL Esports.
Oh, right there, the battle for P3. Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I just was noticing the big spin right there. Like you mentioned, yes, Barrios. Unfortunately, we had seen a move being taken. The guys were door to door going through, and all of a sudden we just seen a spin of Barrios. So we may have to catch a replay back on that just to see exactly what happened. But now that battle for P3 looks like it will no longer be happening, at least for right now. So we're back to the battle for P1.
Yeah, completely missed that one. Thanks, Kevin. But that was a disappointing spin for Santiago Barrios. That seems Guinness go through and him up to third. We'll see if we can get a replay of that one in the picture-in-picture in a few moments' time. But for now, Lois Regner performing excellent at the front. Feel sorry for poor Keo Aski, who's kind of out of the running here. Villarreal 3.7 behind Barrios. He now has a little bit of entertainment, maybe in the middle of the pack. No pit stops for any of these guys yet. Usually we see one guy chance his arm pitting early in the race. I think Leo Mora did, but then of course had that second incident heading up this section of track as his Seminara finally starting to maybe get the hurry up. Maybe he feels that I gotta make a move soon. Because if he doesn't make a move soon, there's no championship. If he doesn't make a move soon, there's no race win. You want to end the season at the greatest possible high, really, heading in towards season 5. Which, if you missed, of course, we had a bit of a preview before. We'll have it again. Go to AMX 10. Here, picture-in-picture incident between Santiago Barrios and Facundo Gnez. Kevin, what did you make of this one?
I mean, it looks like right there just taking a bit of speed into the inside. So right there, we've seen it looks like Barrios trying to undercut, but just has a little bit too much speed. And like I mentioned at the beginning of the race, when we're talking about the vehicle overview, these vehicles are very, very tail happy. So it looks like just once he got to the outside, that rear end just started kicking out. And unfortunately, he wasn't able to recover from that and has fallen down to place. But now that too, there's been quite a bit of gap, especially every time we see battles like that going on. So there's that battle going for third place. When you have battles going on, unfortunately, that does slow you down a bit. Occasionally, it slows you down from the pack. So we had seen earlier there was, over a 14-second gap between second and third place, as there's a battle still going on right now. But one thing still to keep in mind, it might take a little bit of pressure off of Renier and put a little bit more pressure back onto Seminara. Of course, if Seminara is able to get out of second and move up into first place and win this race, like we said, that would still only bring that deficit to about a 3.5 point difference. So right now, as it sits, if Seminara gets first and Renier gets second, Renier will still look like he will come away with your ACC championship. So not only does Seminara have to win this race and beat out Renier, Renier would have to drop down into third place for Seminara to have a shot at the championship. So it's not only just up to Seminara, he's really having that pressure, like I said, for the other driver to make a mistake. So it's really right now that battle of, okay, we have to just absolutely be dialed in the entire race. But like I said, even though this is a battle for the championship, for that first place, and we have, prizes, everything is on the line. Huge shout out for all of these drivers that have come in here. I know some of these guys, they haven't been here every single week. So just to be able to have the amount of points that they currently have right now just shows how absolutely amazing these drivers are every single time that they have been on the track with us.
Yeah, it's great to see some good attendances, maybe a little bit on the lower side today, but that's absolutely no issue. Still some fabulous racing. We've had some fabulous attendances, fabulous viewers, as we have had some excellent races. An interesting question coming in saying, is this track located in the EU? It's in Europe, it's in the United Kingdom, technically not in the European Union, if you mean the EECC, or now known as the EU, the European Economic Community. European Economic Commission, sorry. No, it's technically not in the EU, but we're not getting into political relations here on an ACC broadcast. That would be slightly out of touch. Really, though, we're 20 minutes into this race. We still don't know who's going to win the race. As of now, it's looking like it's going to be Lois Visionaire who's going to win the championship, but we still do not know who's going to win the race. Kevin, are you a fan of Oulton Park as a track?
I mean, I've only been here a few times. I mean, I'd say in total, I've only put maybe 40 to 50 laps in total Oulton Park, but I think it's unique in the sense of, especially, we see it a lot on iRacing, a lot of their normal just weekly events going on every single season. So there's pretty much always a race there. So, I mean, for, I'd say, drivers that are just getting into sim racing, as we see right now, right here, Seminara going into the pits. I'll have to get back into my opinion of Oulton Park. So Seminara looking like, all right, he might have been getting a little bit frustrated. He's like, I need a little bit of clean air. We are battling, but that too, whether it's to calm the nerves a little bit or just see if, like we said, undercutting him. So directly halfway through the race, Seminara going in, very good pit stop, very quick. So right now, halfway mark, Seminara still in second place, but he will be the first driver to make that mandatory pit stop. So we'll have to see how that will play out for him, Evan.
Oh, Lois Visionaire. That looked like it was almost a problem for him, but it might have just been the camera angle. So Seminara, it's not come up that he's actually served that pit stop yet on the top left. I hope everything went to plan on that stop. There was no penalty for Simone Seminara. hopefully everything went okay on that regard, and it's just a graphical issue. Tuxedo in the stream chat thanking me for explaining UK's political situation. It's a much more advanced thing than that. If we had more than 20 minutes, I might be able to go through. If we had maybe this 6-hour break between AMX1 and AMX10, we might have enough time, but that's besides the point. You can tell I'm Irish, can't you? Speaking of Irish, the GB4 track record here at Oldham Park actually held by Alex Dunn, an Irishman. So there's an interesting fact. Lois Regnier in the race lead. Simone Seminara pitting in second, but it's not come up that he has pit. Hopefully we can get a bit of confirmation on that one. As Simone, someone pointing out in the stream chat as well, doesn't wear sim racing gloves. That's an intriguing one.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I can tell you from personal experience, some of these guys, at least 10 seconds. You will put on sim racing gloves, at least 10 seconds. So, I mean, Seminar could absolutely just be walking away with his championship if, we get him a pair of sim racing gloves out here. But but in all seriousness, it's weird because there's been some races too, as we can see, a couple other drivers now, right, too. We see Regnier and the number 3 of Kwiatkowski both in the pits right now. Regnier, so his pit lap did come up on the timing. So again, like you mentioned, we'll have to see what's going on. Do we just have a bit of a graphical error? Do we have a bit of, is there going to be a penalty? What is going on here? Why is it not showing up, Seminar? So we'll have to see as the race continues, but that still only leaves right now about a 15-second gap. So will that pit stop strategy be worth it? We will have to wait and see, as we have just under 18 minutes left in this race. But Seminara right now looks like bumped up into first place over Lloyd Regnier. So about a 3-second gap, so not too close behind. So again, strategy, we called it earlier, strategy was absolutely going to be one of the number one factors in who comes in here. As we see in the bottom right, Lloyd Regnier going into the grass, unfortunately, right there on lap 8. Ouch.
I knew he made a mistake when the camera cut. That's Lloyd Regnier who made that error. That was a big error from Lois, spinning around completely. I'm surprised he's only lost 3.3 seconds with that one. So Lois, yeah, that's a big error from him. So Simone Seminara leads ahead of Lois Regnier. Then it is Facundo Guedes, Santiago Barrios, Diogo Villarreal, and then Kwiatkowski in 6th spot. 2 pit stops have been served. 100%, that's Regnier and Kwiatkowski. Seminara has pulled into the pit lane. We're not sure if it's classified that as making the mandatory pit stop, and then the other 3 have not attempted it yet. If you're enjoying the action here, make sure to, of course, check out more AMX action during the off-season here in the YouTube channel and all other socials. We're on everything, so you can find it there. If you're just joining us, you have not missed too much in terms of, I suppose, spoilers, because we're still waiting for the big dramatic moments here in this race, here at Oulton Park, a circuit with many layouts. It has the Foster's layout, the Island circuit, as we're on the full international circuit, which technically has 17 corners, lap record of a 28.619. We're going a little bit slower than that. Of course, it being in a GT4 car, but the Italian doing the job so far, but still many questions still to be asked, still many answers awaiting here in the ACC Championship.
Yeah, and that too, I just want to go back to talk a little bit about that spin earlier. So I was watching it back again too, just to see a little bit on the stream, trying to multitask here. That actually looked like we may have gotten a couple of drivers mixed up right there, because that one actually looked like that was a number 3 and not a number 2 of Lloyd Regnier. So that looks like that might have been Kwiatkowski who was actually the replay there. But like we said, you did mention earlier, Regnier, he did make a bit of an error, so that might have not been that same error. But again, right here too, these drivers are pushing it absolutely to the limit, as we can see, getting a little bit squirrely right now from the on-board view. But right there, that is just going into play. Of course, again, Seminara, he is leading right now, but he was in the pits. The timing was showing that he didn't take the mandatory pit stop, so we will have to see again. Exactly, I see chat right now too. You guys are confused. There is a little bit of confusion going right now. So like we said, we have 15 minutes to really settle what is going to end up happening here in this race. So maybe a little bit of technical issues, maybe a little bit of things going on with ACC, things going on with the timing. We will get confirmation on that for you as the race continues. But nonetheless, right now, Seminara about 4 seconds ahead. So if he can keep this pace and he can keep his concentration, he will be able to do it. And here is the actual slip of Lloyd Renier in that number 2 car. And he did go into the grass, so it's looking like there's been several people, unfortunately, out in the grass today. And we just knew that grass, like we said, you're trying to stop on that. Good luck. You just hope to keep it out of the barriers at that point, hope to keep it out of other drivers. So we'll see some of that slip up again. Seminara, he needed that slip up to happen for him to absolutely lock in a first place. But Renier, with him being in second place, he still will have to drop down one more place if Seminara has hope of taking home the championship.
That was so close to the wall there on the inside of the corner, heading down to the Shell Oils corner. Nice racing there. Very lucky just to get the car under control at the right points, or it could have been into the wall and significant damage for his Beamer. But Simone Seminara doing a good job for now, 4.4. If you're confused about the pit stops, unfortunately we are equally, so we'll try to get some clarification on that one as soon as we can. But as it stands, Simone would have to serve it again because it's not come up as an officially served pit stop. Gomez is not served his as well. Barrios now has, as has Villarreal, as has Kawasaki, so it's all but 2 done and dusted with the pits for this season of AMX ACC. Pit stop or no pit stop for Mr. Seminara, Lois Regner would still be the champion in second position, well doing enough to do so. Unfortunately, Simone hasn't had the easiest to run, maybe, with how quick Lois is compared to everybody else, excluding himself. Lois clearly first or second best driver here. Simone clearly the first or second best driver here this evening.
Yeah, one thing now that it looks like got brought up with Seminara and not showing his pit stop that he taken is there might have been a possibility if he wasn't entirely in the pit box. So again, not necessarily something that would be penalized, but it would be something that, hey, if Assetto Corsa didn't recognize that as a proper pit stop, that may be what happened. Again, this might be a weird picture-in-picture replay of a pit stop. I don't know if we've ever had one of those before, but we'll see if we want to get some more details on that as we are 12 minutes left in this race. Seminara slowly pulling away, though, from Lloyd Renier as, right there, a little bit more, almost into the grass again from Lloyd. So he's trying to make up all of the time that he lost earlier, but he needs to be very careful because that too, of what almost happened, the same thing as earlier, just touching that grass and almost going out of control again once more. So a big gap of 35 seconds between second and third there too. So we will see right now as it sits. It looks like Lloyd Renier will be your champion, but anything can happen. We cannot stress that enough. I know I say it over and over, but it's true. We didn't expect him to go off in the first place. We didn't expect Kwiatkowski to go off. We didn't expect Leo Mora to unfortunately be out of the race so early on. So many unexpected things going on this race. We didn't expect a pit stop error from Seminara either. So it just shows the championship, when everything is on the line, that we have the pit replay down in the bottom hand of Seminara. So, like I said, a little bit funny of it. He may have just slightly overshot the pit. That may be what it is. So we'll have to see exactly what happens. He may have to give up that place now to make another pit stop. If Lloyd Renier will be able to capitalize on it, we'll have to wait and see.
That's a sickener for Simone Seminara, who was driving very well here today. He's maybe looking to try winning an ACC race, but unfortunately he won't if he has to come into the pit lane again, which he does because he's overshot the pit. It's not classified as a mandatory pit stop being served. He has to do it again. It's an unfortunate mistake from the Gladius Competitions driver, as Lois Regner almost has this one pretty comfortable now. 7.1 seconds. Simone Seminara, the quickest man here in the, in quotation marks, second stint of his. Lloyd's making that mistake in towards turn number 5, the Shell Oils corner through the island bend before, and he's kind of just taking it cool now, just taking it nice and relaxed, nice and composed. He's going to take it home to the finish. No real challenger behind. Simone Seminara will lose more than 2.8 in the bits. That's unfortunately how it is. Yeah, this is looking very good. Your name's Lois Regner.
So right now we are just past our 3/4 mark into the race. So we are under 10 minutes. Right now it looks like pretty much everyone again has taken their mandatory pit stop into this. So there is a good chance, as long as no one makes any major mistakes, that this may very well be your qualifying position. We have a little bit of a gap going on pretty much between the drivers throughout the grid. So right now, but we can see, as we're still on board with Lloyd Renier, that he's trying to make up every little bit. Unfortunately, that has to mess with your head, just being a driver in some of these. If you have gone off into the grass, if you have gone, that plays a huge mental part in whether or not you want to really push it as hard as you think you can, or you start over pushing it just a little bit, trying to make up any time that you have. And that too, I'm not sure if these drivers are completely aware that Seminara will have to hit the pits again. So, like I said, as long as Lloyd Renier is able to stay very clean, he may be able to make up that time in time before the end of the race of Seminara. Or if Seminara doesn't know, oh no, cutting the corner right here. Oh, that definitely looked like that may be getting a bit of a slowdown there, or a penalty.
Bit of a cheeky corner cut for Lois Regner. It's what you can do when you've soon to be champion status, champion elect. He's going to pick himself up a nice prize. He's picked himself up a lot of prize money. There's been a lot of money transferred at Oulton Park. It's gone through multiple ownerships, taken over by Octagon Sports Marketing for £20 million. I don't think AMX has that much money to purchase a circuit, but we'll wait and see. And then, of course, we said Jonathan Palmer bought the circuit as well. Lois Regner, I wonder what he'll buy with his prize money. Probably just an iRacing subscription, or something along those lines. But 9.6 now the gap between himself and Seminara. Still not really enough for Simone to capitalise on. He does have to serve that mandatory pit stop again, of course. What does he know about that? Probably does. Definitely a team engineer or something has told him, or maybe an AMX official. Lois Regner, he's just lapping comfortably. Made a mistake on that lap, of course, but just lapping comfortably nonetheless. Battle for third is diminished as well between Facundo Guinness and Santiago Barrios. That, of course, diminished when we saw Santiago make that mistake in spinning in through the third sector. But for now, we're almost there for the ACC season. It's been an exciting one. It's looking like it's going to be a French champion.
And right now with Lois, I think the big thing right now, if he is on the comms with his team, just for someone to play, hey, you got the championship in the bag. We know that you want to end the finale, end the final race on a win. But hey, man, being on the podium, being in that second place spot, that is still enough to secure the championship. So I think right now, really with only 6.5 minutes left in this race, that he really just, calm down just a little bit, make sure he doesn't make any big errors that could potentially put him out of championship contention, going back all the way down to third place. So right now, again, just able to settle those nerves a little bit. It does look like he isn't quite going as hard as he was earlier. Of course, still trying to use as much of the track as possible, still trying to push it, but not quite like he was earlier. So maybe someone told him, maybe he knows of what's we're saying up here in the booth, but congratulations to both of these drivers. Again, I love the 1-2 battles, especially we've seen that a shout out to the AMX1 NASCAR, which I was participating in and then was able to broadcast up here too. But with the AMX1 NASCAR, we've seen something very similar between Facundo Rago and Connor Healy. Those guys, pretty much a 1-2 the entire season. That was kind of the main rivalry. And again, we've seen this here in the AMX1 with Assetto Corsa Competizione. So, although that a lot of people see the AMX1 as, these races might be a little bit slower, I say no, there's just as close of competition the entire time. If anything, at times there may be even closer competition of just not as much points being handed out compared to the AMX 10 race. So it just gives that much more opportunity for the season points battles, as long as the track battles, to be here all season long. So again, really excited for season 5. We are going to get more of the same, more in general. Like we said, the introduction of AMX 20 coming on. So those will be a little bit different. Like I said, I don't want to give away all the secrets just yet. So absolutely make sure to follow our socials, join our Discord. I'm sure a lot of stuff will get posted in there to the community chat, as well as stay updated on AMX Race from time to time. So great championship so far though, Evan.
Yes, really fantastic. There's another man who's becoming a champion as well. That's Diogo Villarreal, who's going to win the overall AMX 1 championship. AMX 1 and AMX 10 were both won by Quentin Guedes last season in Season 3. Season 4 is providing a fantastic variety of champions. So it'll be Villarreal who wins the AMX 1, but here on ACC, it'll be Regnier who's going to take it with 4 minutes to go. So when asking where are these guys from, I presume you mean the drivers. So Seminara, Italy, Regnier, France, Guedes, no idea, to be perfectly honest with you. Barrios is Argentina. Diogo Villarreal, I want to say Brazil. And then Kewasaki, again, unfortunately, I have no idea. But that's the most part of them. It's very worldwide, is AMX. It's accessible to anyone. That is an accessible run off the track. And you can see a little bit of visible frustration from Simone Seminara there. That's kind of the first inkling of emotion we've seen so far this evening. Simone, maybe the realization has just hit.
Yeah, right there. So like we said, we only have about 3.5 minutes. So Seminara may have to pit again. Of course, you know, in his HUD, he may see, or if he has someone in his ear, by chance, just let him know, hey, you know, that register, it didn't register. You're about 12 and a half, or a little bit over 12 seconds up. So this one could come down to the wire again. Hopefully he does go back into the pits and does not get a penalty post-race for not having that pit registered. But yeah, so just it's been crazy. I did not expect it to be this. Like I said earlier on, I kind of had Seminara as my pick to win the race, just based on qualifying, based on the battles I've already seen between him and Regnier. But I did not expect this of right now Regnier in second place being 12 seconds behind on pace. So with just over 2 minutes left, or sorry, 2 minutes 40 seconds right now. We'll have to see. This is kind of do or die right now for Seminara. So will he go into the pits? We'll have to wait and see. He may have just enough time to get a stop and go into the pits, be able to take off and come out of the pits ahead, still in first place. But it is going to come down to the wire as we are only a couple of minutes from the checkered flag out here. AMX 1 ACC championship race going on. He does not take the pit, so this is going to be very, very interesting. On his pace, he's been running 145 in qualifying, so he has plenty of time, as long as he keeps it clean, to potentially go into the pits after this lap.
Yeah, he's one more lap to do it. Otherwise, I don't think he's going to score any points, let alone once for the championship. He's going to have to come into the pits, and he can't do a Michael Schumacher either. Schumacher, when he did the British Grand Prix, where he pit on the last lap, pulled into the pit stop service penalty, and then crossed the checkered in the pit lane, because his pit boxes are after the start-finish line, I think. But Simone Seminara runs a little bit wide through the Shell Oils corner. He, unfortunately, is not going to be the star of this evening. That'll be Lois Regnier in second spot. A couple of battles further down the field. They have not really evolved in the last couple of laps. Kewasaki, unfortunately, 2 laps down now, so he's had some trouble throughout the race. But I think we're going to get one more lap after this one, Kevin, where we will crown a champion.
Yeah, it looks like that too. Seminara, after this, looks like he may be getting the white flag. But will he be getting the white flag and staying on track, which unfortunately would potentially lead to a penalty at post-race of not getting that pit stop? Or will he get the white flag as he goes into the pit stop? Only time will tell. Like we said, 50 seconds left in the race. We have under 1 minute left out here, folks. So right now, we knew it was going to come down to the wire. I didn't think it'd come down to it quite like this. I hoped that it would be a door-to-door battle, them slamming back and forth, left and right through the checkered flag. But right now, we'll have to see as he does go indeed into the pit stop. So right now, all bets will come down to this pit stop for your winner of the race.
Yep, let's see. We can see Lois Regnier heading for the final corner now, heading in through Deer Leap. He's going to lead this one. Where is Seminara going to pull out now? He's pulling out. Oh, it's got to be close enough, you know. Regnier, no, he's just ahead. Lois Regnier is going to lead on the last lap ahead of Simone Seminara. It's very close, I tell you what. Simone has put up an absolute fight. That was a valiant effort from the Italian man to try and stay ahead in this race pretty much. He really gave it gusto, but it's going to be Lois Regnier who will be ahead. You will see it home as he's just heading in towards Shell Oils corner. This is going to be probably one of the best laps of his career. He doesn't want to make a mistake now either, because that would be rather embarrassing for Lois Wegener. But this is going to be one of his favourite laps, I think, in his career, where he will see it home down towards Hilltop. Through Britain's first, then down towards Hilltop. Lois has really been fantastic. He won 3 of the first 5 rounds in AMX ACC. He's only raced in 6 races so far this season. He's going to win here today. That'll make it 4 from 7. Only 3 races have not been won by Lois Wegener this season that he's raced in. Of course, we've had a lot more than just 7 rounds from him. Lois Wegener, as the session ends, the man from Nantes, France, is officially your AMX ACC Drivers' Champion. A fabulous achievement from Lois Wegener, who'll see it home ahead of Simone Seminara on track in the standings. Lois, this is a fantastic moment for him.
And there's that too, like we said right here, as we're coming into the final turns. Big congratulations as we see the starting grids right there. Wegener is absolutely happy about this. You can see the lights flashing. Seminara, congratulations to both of these drivers. But like you mentioned, your champion right there of Lois Wegener, followed by your second place, Simone Seminara. These guys, absolute great battles, absolute heartbreak. There's so many emotions going through from this race today. But in the end, it is Lois Wegener that is coming home, your ACC champion. Wow, you just got to know the relief that he's feeling after that race, of it coming so close down to the wire, of him slowly starting to lose that lead. A little mistake here, a little mistake there. And unfortunate for Simone, like we said, he will still be in second place in the championship. But again, man, that just goes to show of hopefully these drivers will be back battling it out for season 5 of AMX1. Amazing drivers, amazing times. Evan, just an amazing finale. Couldn't have asked for a better finale of ups and downs.
Yeah, had a lot of drama in it, as Lois Wegener, your BenQ session winner here for ACC. It was Simone Seminara in second, only 3.4 behind. That's really impressive considering the race he had. And it was Facundo Canez picks up a podium in third, Santiago Varias in fourth, Diogo Villarreal in fifth, and it was Kei Araski in sixth and Leo Moore in seventh. I thought Lois was going to give us a bit of a celebration or something there on the camera, but I think he's just picked it up to have a look at his phone. So Lois Wegener is your champion and your winner. He won by $9, I've just been told. It's very close, and it has really boded well for our first season on Assetto Corsa Competizione. Oh, here he is. Hello, Lois.
Absolutely. That great finish to a great championship. Lois Wegener able to hold on to his championship lead by winning this one. Man, coming down to that last lap, of course, Seminara had that unfortunate pit stop incident where he overshot the pit, and that unfortunately cost him his race. But like I said, huge congratulations. It is still such a feat for both of these drivers. They have been the top 2 drivers for a reason. They've just been absolutely dominant out here in our ACC races. So again, I really hope for both of you drivers, all of the drivers out here today, please come back for season 5. Especially when we've seen that even just some of these drivers missing 1 or 2 races, absolutely changing the championship lead in points. So hopefully we can get some of these drivers and then some every single race. And by the end of next season, we'll have to see, will Lois Wegener also be able to come back next season and have another championship? But again, that's way too soon to tell, as we are in the midst of our grand finale today, AMX Season 4. Wow, that couldn't have asked for a better race. I mean, you can always ask for a better race, but maybe we'd be asking for a bit too much, as this race was just absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, it was absolutely fantastic. What a fantastic way to end the ACC season, but we're not done just yet. Saw someone asking, do we have one more race to come? Well, absolutely. With GTPs at Spa-Francorchamps, it was a fantastic combination last season. Fantastic combination this season. Should be a fantastic combination in a couple minutes time. We'll be taking a quick break, but we will be back for iRacing AMX 10 season finale GTP action here on Sunday. You're not going to want to miss it. Make sure you do check out our social media handles and check out all the content over on there during our break. But we will be back in a couple of moments. It'll be myself and Kevin running you through. Stay here, do not go anywhere. We have a fabulous race coming up.
To save our home, we must travel through the gateway to find new energy.
one of the most iconic racing facilities in the world. It is Spa-Francorchamps, and it is a fabulous car and track combination as ever that'll see us round out AMX Season 4. It is race 34 of 34. It is the final AMX 10 race of this season, and we're at the very famous Spa-Francorchamps circuit. The circuit located in eastern Belgium near the German border. Hello folks, welcome back. My name is Evan Dalton, and alongside me it's a pleasure to have the fabulous Kevin Garcia. Kevin, it's the final hurrah, it's the final race, but it should be as good as ever.
Oh, definitely. I mean, although we have crowned a champion technically who achieved this feat during last week's race. But before we get to that, like you mentioned, today we are in the grand finale, and it wouldn't be an amazing finale. We had a great finale during AMX 1 or Assetto Corsa Competizione, and I expect the exact same thing to happen now. Even though, and so now, drum roll please, that I want to give a huge congratulations to Kyle Valero, who was able to secure his championship spot during last week's race. And I know last week's race, if you watched it, and for those of you that didn't, there was a bit of drama on there. We had a little bit of rain playing into it, and that definitely shook things up a little bit for our drivers. So crazy, unexpected weather last week, but still led to Kyle Valero able to secure the championship. But what is not secured is second and third for the championship, as well as what is going on in today's race.
Yes, we have fabulous action coming up for you, which we will be running you through shortly. Kevin will be talking you through the car and track preview. Make sure to check out all our social media channels. There'll be plenty of off-season content coming there that you want to check out. We've got some very exciting news as well coming up. But first, we got to run you through our usual housekeeping. See the beautiful circuit in the background of Spa-Francorchamps there. That is the host for the final race here on April 21st. We've been going since January 27th. We've had the most races in a year and a fabulous variety of car and track combos. $20,000 season prize pool and some fabulous next level racing gear. Race format for iRacing. You're well used to it now. It's the 20-minute qualifier. Top 15 reversed. Then it is Heat 1, 20 minutes, top 15 reversed. Then it's Heat 2 for 20 minutes. And the prize amounts for every standing are the same for every single session. Driver cams required, of course. Balances over $100 are paid out each month. We race on Tuesdays, Saturdays and Sundays. Do you want to be involved in AMX Season 5? Head over to amxrace.com immediately. Check out some of the fabulous stuff over there. Our schedule then, this is of course all in Greenwich Mean Time. Tuesdays, Saturdays and Sundays for AMX 1, that's at 5:50 PM, and then for AMX 10, 7:20 PM. That might be changing, so make sure you keep a close eye on all our social channels and of course our official website, amxrace.com, once again, to keep up with some up-to-date timings there for Season 5. The prize pool then for iRacing, it is one you're used to, but it's a fabulous prize pool nonetheless here on AMX 10. It's $30 for qualifying first, it's $30 for winning Heat 1, it's $30 for winning Heat 2, and then it goes down the exact same for all except the fastest lap, which of course is only in the race. It is $30 for the win, and it is 20, 18, 16, 14, 12, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, no one, no liftoff, but it is a fabulous prize pool nonetheless. Minimum road I rating for this championship is $2,000, I should say. $500 prize pool per race. Here's your standings then, and of course we have a champion. 3 wins, 31 raced. It is Kyle Valero who came into this one as the champion this evening. He's still racing though tonight, so he might be looking to take a 4th win. Kieran Harrison then in 2nd with Aaron Vasquez in 3rd. Then it is Gaston Kilhavy in 4th, Dino Felipe in 5th with Jackson Rosenge in 6th. Then it is Pedro Dean, the Fabio Zamperlini, Juan Blaine, Nat Simon Demori, Tobias Soriano, Roman Pascucci, who round out your top 12 here with a couple of changes since the last time you've seen this one. Kilhavy ahead of Felipe, Blaine Nat ahead of Demori. Here is your standings then in the AMX 10 GT Championship. You pick up yourself one of those fabulous GT Elite cockpits there on the left-hand side. A couple of changes. Demori ahead of Kilhavy in the points rankings. Boris Ovando jumping ahead of Pedro Dean as well. Dean down 2, actually, so disappointing for Pedro Dean. Dino Felipe then breaking into the top 10. But there's one man who's the king of them all. That is Mr. Gael Valero, 512 points. That is simply astounding. Ahead of Jackson Resenge in second. Gael has been fabulous. We most likely will see him battling for the top here again this evening. And then, of course, fabulous news. It's Season 5. We have a brilliant season coming soon here on AMX. We've got some big races. AMX 20 Enduro. Yes, 20. Special events with $1,000 prize pool. We've got, obviously, more fantastic championships. We might even have many numbers, I should say, after that 3-letter abbreviation. No limits, you can join as many as you want. Tiers together on the same day, feel free. New tiers, new schedule, pit stops. It literally has everything. You would be an absolute fool to miss out on AMX Season 5. It is a fantastic event coming up very soon. Speaking of fantastic events coming up, it's, of course, tonight's race. I'm going to hand it over to Kevin to run you through the car and track.
Thank you, Evan. And we were here last weekend in the GT4s, but today we are not going to be racing in that. We are racing in the much faster GTP out here at Spa-Francorchamps in Stavlo, Belgium, home of the Belgian Grand Prix. It was opened back in 1921, so we just passed the centennial anniversary a few years back. The course length is at just over 7 kilometers, which in American units, that is roughly 4.4 miles. So Spa, one of the most famous tracks in the world, one of the most beautiful tracks as well, as you can see it buried in all of the trees here. I love the scenery at Spa as well as everyone else. But again, like I said last week with the GT4, this week we are in the GTP cars. So this course, being a Grand Prix course, is absolutely perfect for these cars that have high horsepower, high aerodynamics, 671 horsepower to be exact, going back to the rear wheels, just over 1,000 kilograms, weighing in at 1,030 kilograms, and going through that sequential gearbox. Absolutely love these cars. If I had to pick a favorite one of my own, I mean, being American, I am a little bit biased towards the Cadillac Racing Corvettes that is in this class. Just that beautiful V8 sound going on. But nonetheless, we have plenty of vehicles. Big grid going out here. We have Acura, we have BMW, Cadillac. So it's not just down to one make. A good combination of things going on in the grid. But now we will be seeing how our drivers are doing now during the qualifying session. So again, just a reminder, we have our current qualifying sessions going on for 20 minutes as we are on board. Beautiful Cosworth steering wheel right there in these vehicles as well. You can just see how compact everything is inside of the vehicles. So right now it's looking like Peter Zuba is your current lead right now during qualifying, as we have almost halfway through our qualifying session. So great on board right here. We'll see how these next 10 minutes go, see if the lead changes.
Yeah, Pedro Zuba currently quickest in qualifying. We're almost at the halfway mark of that qualifying session. It is then Jackson Resenge in second, Fabio Zambolini in third. We are currently in a GTP car. If you're wondering what a GTP car is, it's the pinnacle of the World Endurance Championship and the IMSA series in America. We're currently on board Pedro Zuba, to be specific. As you can see him there on your bottom left, he is kind of just revving the car in second gear, just maybe regenerating the battery. These cars, of course, all have a hybrid system on them. It's a 50 kilowatt hybrid system in the GTPs. There is a variation here tonight in the GTP cars. We have Acuras, BMWs and Cadillacs, which for it's sort of a smaller GTP grid is not shabby at all. It is a fabulous grid nonetheless. But the session ongoing. We are at the famous Spa-Francorchamps circuit, of course, and here he is, the champion, Gael Valero, who is going to be one of the first ones we look heading around it. He is probably not 8 on pace, definitely can improve on that, but I'd say he's very happy with the prize money, the points he's accumulated so far this season.
And I just seen a couple of you from the chat mentioning like, hey, we noticed that some of these drivers just came out of some of these other races. So I think someone asking about Peter Zuba, I know for sure Gael Valero, and a few others that weren't able to make us. But yeah, that's insane. Some of these guys, if you don't know, they were competing for the last 24 hours with a different championship. So I'm absolutely stunned that, one, I'm excited. I'm so excited and grateful that they get to be out here, especially our championship leader right now, Gael Valero, who was part of the Apex Racing team, as you can see on his livery here. But right now we're on board with Jackson Senjay, who is currently sitting in second place in qualifying, but also sitting in that second place spot during the championship. And like I said, if you were here last Sunday, oh, you all got to see the madness that happened in the rain, especially between a few things that may have been controversial, but of course that is why we have our official racing stewards of the KARA. You can see the logo up in the top right. Those guys are amazing. We thank you. We love having them around to sort out some of these things because, of course, we do as much as we can behind the scenes, but that's where we leave it up to the professionals to sort out some of these things that when things get a little bit heated, there's a little bit of contact, a little bit of punting people off the track every now and then, that those guys do an amazing job able to sort things out. But nonetheless, we are 12 minutes and 30 seconds into our qualifying session as we see Gaston Hulavi, who it looks like he hasn't set down an official lap time yet, so he is still a little bit more than halfway in, looking to set a great lap time. We'll have to see if he's able to do it. But again, just such a beautiful track. I love seeing these onboards, just the forest. I love pretty much any racetrack that has just beautiful scenery around it. Like, I mean, especially, we don't get the full effect here in sim racing, but I know a few of these people, a few of the pictures that you see from these real life events, that is just absolutely gorgeous. As we can see again, so Kulavi not being the only one unable to set a lap time so far. We also do have Kwasniowski, who is looking to set a lap time as well. So we'll have to wait and see from those two drivers where they're able to see, as now Kulavi looking to come towards the end of his lap, second half. And Simon Demori as well, sitting right in the middle. He's been very consistent all season long and pretty much sitting somewhere in that middle, somewhere towards the top throughout the races.
He's changed his camera angle. He used to be a head-on camera for Simon Demori. Now we're looking at him from the left of it. So he's changed his camera angle. Driving the Acura tonight is Simon Demori. You can see the purple and the blue Acura, which is a famous livery in Chip Ganassi Racing. No, not Chip Ganassi Racing. Chip Ganassi Racing is an IMSA team. I was supposed to say an IMSA. I really don't know why I just said Chip Ganassi Racing, but I did. But you would have seen Tom Blomqvist driving that one with the Sirius XM sponsorship. The WeatherTech IMSA Series, Demori currently in 6th position. Speaking of weather, it's looking a little bit overcast here at Spa-Francorchamps. So fun fact about the weather: one, it can rain at different parts of the circuit, can be dry at another, and two, the Ardennes region, here where Spa is located, experiences the highest annual rainfall of anywhere in Belgium. It rained in the Belgian Grand Prix, Formula 1 Grand Prix, for 20 years in a row. So definitely they're used to a little bit of weather. Here is the only man so far not to set a qualifying time. This is Kwasniewski in the bottom order. He's looking to try and get ahead of Tim State and Vinicius Dean in 10th spot, whereas this time going to put him across the line. It's a 58.4, so that's going to put him in 11th for now. Peter Zuba tracking well. You saw your little guide there on the bottom right a couple of moments ago. Purple means, yep, you're the quickest man in that sector. Green means you're improving on your personal best. Yellow means, unfortunately, you're not going quick enough this time. Do better, pretty much. But Peter Zuba lapping well. He's gone purple in that second sector. Heads through the Curve Paul Frere. Down towards Blanchimont of turn 17. It's flat out in these GTP cars. It's a bit of a wave from Peter. It was something nonetheless. In towards this flat out Blanchimont. Peter currently the quickest man here by quite a margin, I must say. Yeah, we'll be starting last though if he takes the pole, because reverse grid's a course for heat 1 and 2.
I was pulling up the timing there to see too of like I mean, it's always hard sometimes to get just the sense of speed that these drivers are carrying, especially in some of these higher horsepower vehicles like we are in these GTP categories. But looking out here, it does look like we have some people already reaching well over 300 kilometers an hour. So just absolutely flying through here. And seen earlier, disappeared right now, but I don't know if that was true. They're hitting all the way up to 330 kilometers an hour, which in miles per hour, that's just over 200 miles an hour. So if that is true, that's just absolutely insane to see what these cars can do. I mean, you know, of course, being on the Grand Prix circuit, a lot of times we're used to seeing this in the Belgian Grand Prix with the F1 cars. But that goes to show too here with the GTP, they are, you know, essentially a closed cockpit hybrid version of some of these vehicles. So I love that, you know, these new vehicles in IMSA, in the World Endurance Championship, and of course out here on iRacing, we do have some good representation. But as those championships are growing in real life, I cannot wait to see some of the newer vehicles that are getting involved in the championships be added to iRacing. Mainly, I'm curious if they're going to add the new Ferrari hypercar to the list. I mean, I know there's other things going on right now, other licensing issues that they have to get and things of that such, but it's just great to see the more competition in here, the better, as far as the cars, the drivers, the tracks, and that too. Like we see right now, it looks a little bit cloudy out there today on the track, so will that cloud coverage turn into rain? I mean, we'll just have to wait and see. For some of these drivers, they may have their radars on, or some of their teammates looking at the weather, but for us viewers up here, we're just going to have to wait and see if it's going to be a repeat of last week. Last week qualifying very dry, and then we got a little bit of rain during the race that shook up the entire grid. So right now, 17 and a half minutes into qualifying on our finale of AMX 10 racing.
Yeah, very interesting you mentioned that Ferrari hypercar. I'd love to see the Ferrari hypercar. Won Le Mans in 2023. Was racing today in the World Endurance Championship at 6 hours of Imola. They qualified first, second and third. Typical Ferrari fashion, didn't finish first, second and third. They were beaten by the Toyota team. And Nick de Vries actually picking up his first World Endurance Championship win for the Toyota team. In case you couldn't tell, I'm a big nerd for endurance racing. Hence why AMX providing some next season is a very fascinating endeavour for me. Remember, go back to the start of our broadcast to see the new information for AMX Season 5. Some of the more, currently 6th. He was not too happy with the fact he was 6th. He rather was disappointed with his lap there. He'd like to be a little bit higher up. We are currently looking at Bruno De Carmo in that fantastic Tony Kanaan Esports livery there. It is a black and gold livery that's just fabulous. A minute and 20 to go here in qualifying though. Currently it's looking like no one is even getting close to Peter Zuba's time.
Yeah, right now I'm just looking out through the field too. One thing to keep your eyes on, we've seen Pedro Dean also, who's sitting in third place, consistently getting better throughout the season. So again, right now he is sitting in that third place. Jackson Asenge sitting in second. One thing surprising right now, Gael Valero sitting in that 5th place. So that's a little bit uncharacteristic of him. But like we said, he just came off of a 24-hour race with his team. So even to be in 5th place, still right up there, just not too far off of the leader, says just huge amount. I can't even get the words right of just how impressive that is, as we can see here. But that is why he is the champ. He is absolutely dedicated, and we can see, you know, speaking of champs too, that goes to the likes of even in real life. So these guys that are putting in the hours in the sim, we have people out there like Max Verstappen who absolutely live, sleep, breathe racing, and there's a reason why guys like that are on top and so dominant. So right now, coming into the final 10 seconds of qualifying, it looks like Peter Zuba will be improving his lap time just slightly. So he holds on to that top spot. Going into here, we will have to see exactly how our standings. And remember, top 15 reverse grid going into heat number 1.
Big laps in the end there from Bruno De Carmo and from Boris Ovando. Literally jumping up the other in the dying seconds. But your BenQ session winner is Peter Zuba, who's very good in these GTP cars. He takes the first place, he takes the maximum prize, but he will start in the back. Jackson Asenge second. Bruno De Carmo literally in the last second goes to third, 3/10 off the pole. Boris Ovando in the last 10 seconds jumped up to fourth. So Pedro Dean losing 2 spots there. He starts 5th. Fabio Zamperlini in 6th. Gael Valero then qualifying in 7th. Then it's Simon de Mori, Gaston Gilhavy, Vinicius Dean, and it is Peter Kwasniewski. Apologies if that is slightly butchered. And then our VR headset man, Tim State, in 12th. Kevin, I think we're in for a very good race.
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, I mean, we've known that these AMX 10 races have been just stunning all season long. Great battles up front, great battles I mentioned during the ACC race. Somehow we always end up with a battle for 5th place. Kind of random, but hey, it seems to happen. So battles all throughout the grid, as we can see now. Of course, Tim Stage, like you mentioned, our local VR resident and my fellow American. As long as we've all seen Boris Ovando, who sitting in that 9th place grid. I got to give a big shout out to my fellow Americans. We don't see too many of them on the grids during the AMX races, so I'm always excited to see them here. As well as today, it does look like we have a majority from South America and especially Brazil. We have some fan favorites. Also, we had, when we were back at Zandvoort a few weeks ago with the Dean brothers. So we have Pedro Dean and Vinny Dean in there, mixing it up as well. We got to interview the Dean brothers before, well, one of the Deans at least, previously. And, you know, I always wonder that too, because I have a brother, so I always wonder, like, you know what, I don't have a twin brother, as these two, they are twins that you'll probably see throughout the race as we bring up the driver cams up. Are we bringing up the same driver? No, your eyes do not deceive you. Dean brothers, in fact, are twin brothers, so we're not seeing duplicates out here, but we see here Peter Zuba in the back of the grid, looking the concentration on his face as we start the rollout, getting ready, heat up those tires, get a little bit of pace on here. So Peter Zuba qualifying number 1. Will he be able to fight his way up through the grid to secure another number 1 in here in heat 1? That's a lot of ones, but we'll have to stay tuned as the Porsche safety car leading while we're moments away from the green flag.
It's an all-Acura front row with Tim State and Peter Kwasniewski. It'll be State who starts first there. He's in the purple and orange on the outside. And there's the number 2 of Peter there in 2nd position. We ran through the bus stop chicane for the final time this season. We go racing here, and we start AMX 10. We go racing at Spa-Francorchamps, and that is a great start from Tim State, great start from Vinicius Dean. You can see them all so concentrated on the right-hand side of your screen. That's Gaston Gilhavy up to 3rd. Now,
absolutely great start from all of these racers too, as now we're going down into my favorite section of the track, Eau Rouge, just towards that too. If you see the pictures that come out here, it's just great, as we have a train forming already, so everyone getting in line too, but I don't expect it to see it like that. Of course, this track is a bit wider, so there's plenty of room for these guys to get out of the draft and try to break in later into these corners.
Yep, Simon de Mori in 6th spot. You can see Peter Zuba already up to 8th. Resenge now is in 9th spot. It's side by side here. Oh, a bit of a wobble from Gilhavy heading out of Malmedy down towards the Bruxelles hairpin. 2 by 2 they go. It's Gaston Gilhavy in 4th as a spinner. It's Boris Ovando, the Texan, who goes around. There's another car off as well there. That's heading in towards the hairpin. That is Kwasniewski, who started on the front row. He's down to 10th. Vinicius Dean now 2nd, chasing after Tim State at the top, and Pedro Dean in 4th. In 4th, just ahead of Peter Zuba in 6th spot. It's a very hectic first start. We see Vinicius Dean run wide as well through the campus chicane.
And just like that, our grid is already mixed up from the start of the thing. People going up, people going down, 2 spins, man, and we're not even through lap number 1, but like we said, we always expect that, especially from these drivers. You got cold tires, you're coming out of qualifying, you're still getting used to that. So again, the people that were able to, Tim State, I want to just say right now, he is doing an absolute great job at holding off in that 1st place position from the beginning, but slowly reeling it in. We do have Vinny Dean behind him, so great racing right there as Pedro Dean goes up, and oh no, we see a couple corners, and in the bottom right we have the Kwasniewski incident. Ooh, looks just like he got a little bit too inside, may have touched the grass, spun out, and luckily
for de Mori.
That didn't go out too many. Oh, you're right, de Mori. Oh no, what happened here?
He suddenly slowed down on the exit of the bus stop chicane in that Acura ARX 06. I'm not sure if it was a slowdown, if it was a technical issue, But Simon de Mori is down to 9th spot. Not great for him. We're looking at Peter Zuba in the 9 race clutch livery, heading down and chasing down Pedro Dean for 3rd. There's a lot of close battles around the field. No movement necessarily just yet into the Lecombe chicane. As you can see, the train just snaking around. It's a 2.3 second deficit between the Dean brothers. That is where the real schism in the field lies. Tim State and Dean kind of at the top, and then Dean down kind of all together, snaking round this second lap of 10 here at the Circuit Spa Workshops. It's usually a 20-minute race. We're going by laps here, though, purely because it's almost a 2-minute lap time, so it makes sense. The maths adds up. Kyle Valero, though, currently at 60, or AMX 10 champion for this season. He's chasing down Gaston Colhavi. He might be the champion, but I tell you what, the fire is always lit within the Frenchman of Gael Valero. He wants to get ahead of these drivers.
And that too, like you mentioned, Peter Zuba, great job from him going up already 8 spots into 4th place. So we're only 2 laps in. So as we've seen how fast he was in qualifying, we may very well see Peter Zuba up on that podium for heat number 1. As we can see him closing in. Right now, we are on the side of the car with Gaston Kulavi, who you see Gael Valero right behind him too. So like we said, again, it's that 5th place position. I don't know what it is. There's a battle going on for 5th right now. Only 2 laps into this thing. So I'm not sure how many viewers are going to just keep remembering that of every single race now. I'm sorry if I put that in advance, but it's true. It is a weird coincidence. As Tim State just setting a 2-minute, and Peter Dean right now looking for that 2nd place position. We see going around the outside. Oh, a little bit of contact right there, but luckily neither of the drivers spin out and neither of them lose a position from that. So man, that was some really close contact right there. Luckily, it didn't turn out worse than it was. So right now, Tim State, Pedro Dean, and Vinny Dean, your top 3. So like I said, the Dean brothers, we've seen them once they're able to work together. You see all smiles right there. So hey, a little bit of a brotherly love there, but also they're going to battle each other out. You know, each of them wants that top spot. So that's one thing that right now, Tim State, Pedro Dean, and Peter Zuba able to break it up between the Dean brothers. So Peter Zuba going up into that 3rd place. So right now he is on podium. Number 1 in qualifying, sitting currently in 3rd, but that's not good enough for him. We know he wants that top spot back as he's reeling in Pedro Dean.
If the family of the Dean brothers was watching there for a moment in towards the last horse of turn number 1, that their heart was probably in their mouth. But it's currently Pedro Dean in 2nd, Peter Zuba in 3rd, Vinicius Dean in 4th. It's not taking Peter Zuba long to cut through the field. He's already in 3rd. I tell you what, though, Tim State doing an excellent job at the front. These cars clearly suiting him. It's 6 places gained for Pedro. It's 9 places gained for Zuba. 4 for Jackson, 2 for Bruno De Carmo. Your biggest loser, that is Peter Kwanzniewski, who is down 8. Opponent camera, new feature for this season, although the season of course ends today, so it's been around a while. You can see Gaston Kilhavi and Gael Valero. How is Valero going to play his cards here? Is this going to be a move in towards the bus stop chicane? He's gaining in towards Blanchimont. He puts a wheel up the inside. Is Gael Valero? Oh my goodness me, it's not just an incredible test of bravery from these 2 GTP cars. It's Valero on the outside, Gilhavi on the inside. Valero's going to try running all the way around the outside. This is why he is the champion. Gael Valero can only be described as one of the best moves you'll see this season. He's up to 5th place.
And right there, that just goes to show, like you said, that's why he is the champion right now. But just knowing the track, knowing the car, being able to try and go on the outside, undercutting, able to make that pass on the inside, and we'll see. So right now, Gael Valero very much back in this race. I mean, he never left, but having to fight his way up, is currently in 5th place, looking to wait up. But right here, as we go on to another long straight, so these long straights, these cars have tons of downforce. So we're going to see plenty of moves being made here as well, as we see Peter Zuba right now currently fighting off Peter Dean. So Tim State, Peter Zuba, and Pedro Dean in 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. But again, right now, so unfortunately for Pedro, very fortunate for Peter to be able to get up 1 more place. So now only 1 more place for Peter Zuba. He's looking, he's hunting for Tim State. Tim State right now, 4 laps in, he's being able to hold him off. Tim State is showing that he absolutely knows his track. He did his homework. He put in the practice to be able to defend these guys. And like we've seen too, from all of these drivers throughout the season, I love seeing the progression. As we see also another battle for P4 going on in the bottom right. But like I was saying, the progression of these drivers, just seeing them get better every single week in, week out, and that's what happens when we are in these races with, quite frankly, some of the best sim racers in the world every single weekend.
Yes, here comes Peters, who, but look at that, one-handed while heading through the curve, Paul Frere, and down towards Blanchimont, but Peters Zuba looking to try and capitalise here on Tim State down in towards the bus stop chicane. It was State that made the mistake. Zuba wants his place. He's going to have to brake late in towards the bus stop. Oh, look at that from Pedro Dean. Oh, look at that from Pedro Dean. Where does he come from? He's broke about 100 metres later than Peter Zuba, and somehow, in what can only be described as a form of sorcery, he ends up ahead. Pedro Dean now into second in the 48. That's exceptional from Pedro. Peter Zuba down to third. Doesn't really know what's hit him.
And like you mentioned, like you said, Pedro Dean, amazing, taking advantage of that battle to gain back that second place position. But also, right there, the little bit of contact between Team State and Peter Zuba going on. That, you know, always when you get a little bit nervous when you have contact like that. But right now, side by side going, Peter Zuba, Pedro Dean, who will come out of this? It looks like Peter Zuba able to put that lead. So right now, the battle between first, second, and third. But it looks like Team State is really, you know, as much as he has that pressure on him right now from Peter Zuba, he's very glad that the two behind him are battling it out enough to be able to keep that lead. So we are halfway through race number 5 as Peter Zuba going from the inside of Team State right now. They are door to door. Who's going to come out on top of this? It looks like Peter Zuba just slightly getting the lead, but now to the left-hand turn as the rain is coming down too. So now
it's raining.
Play into it as Peter Zuba able to come away in first place, followed by Pedro Dean in second and Tim State dropping down to third. But as the rain comes in, we'll have to see, are these drivers going to change their tires? Are they going to stick it out? We'll just have to see what the strategy is here. Perfect timing for a lead change for the rain to come down.
5 laps in here at Spa-Francorchamps, the rain has come down. The highest rainfall annually in Belgium is here in the Ardennes region. We're experiencing it here in heat number 1 of AMX 10, the final race of the evening. You can see when it rains it pours. That's really the case at Spa-Francorchamps. These drivers immediately have to adjust their driving styles and get ready for battle to commence in the slippery Spa. Tim State, you can see, just adjusting his line in towards Blanchimont, but this is going to enrich Gael Valero here with another place in towards the bus stop chicane. Is he going to brake late? Tim State kind of closing the door. Well defended there by Tim, mind you, but he's ran wide. That's going to allow Gael Valero the up and under, and he's absolutely sent him to the shops. The Frenchman is ahead in his GTP. I tell you what, this is really going to suit some of the drivers who maybe have just come off 24 hours of racing, because they'll well be used to different conditions here. We said it was dull. The rain is now pouring. The action is only getting better.
Yeah, although things are cooling down on the track, things are heating up between these drivers. As we can see, again, still on board following Tim State as he has DeCarmo slowly behind him as DeCarmo goes to make a move right now. So right now, side by side between Tim State and DeCarmo. So looks like DeCarmo able to go on the outside. So will Tim State? No, he will not be able to hold on to that position as DeCarmo goes up into 4th place now, looking to hunt down Gael Valero, who is currently sitting on that 3rd place bubble. So great moves right here, and like you said, the rain just absolutely changes the dynamics of the entire race. I know some of these drivers getting very comfortable over the last several weeks in the rain. Some of these drivers haven't had as much experience in the rain, so halfway through heat number 1, we may very well see this grid change up entirely again. So when it was dry, all of the drivers were being very consistent, but now the rain changes everything every single time. So also Tim State battling off Simone Demori. That battle for P5 going on right now. So Demori, the absolute concentration. We will have to see, does he have the upper hand with Tim State in the rain, or will Tim be able to battle him off like he's been battling all race long? So heat number 1, lap 6 out here, AMX 10 GTP racing at Spa.
You'd usually tip the European to be better in rain conditions, but who knows? Tim State, very crafty driver, very steady and consistent. That's what he showcased throughout this evening so far. That's what he'll showcase here in the rain. It's really coming down, the spray, very large. Oh, look at this from Simon Demori. Down the inside as they're in for wet tyres. Remember, GTPs run on slicks. Oh, that's going to be Demori who carries on. These GTPs run on slicks. They have a specific wet tyre where your GT3s are Gran Turismo thing. GT3s, they run on your usual Michelin road tyres. But these guys are all in for pit stops here. This is not something you usually see. This is a taste of what you could have next season in Season 5 in our AMX 20 races. Let's see the order they come out in. There's State there in the purple and orange. He's going to gain a couple of spots here, is Tim State. Is he? Oh no, sorry, he's the final garage. So that's why he's gained a couple of spots. Simon Demori and Peter Kwasniewski, we said you tip the Europeans in the wet conditions. They're carrying on the slick tyres here at lap 7 of 10. So this is now a hot pursuit to the finish, really. Let's see, can these guys on presumably the wet tyres, led by Petr Zuba and Pedro Dean, can they catch 25 plus seconds to those on the slicks? This is going to be really intriguing.
Yeah, right here, and just like that with the change of tires. So we've seen some drivers going in, some drivers staying out. Will that strategy pay off? Again, Simon Demori and Peter Kwasniewski, right now you're 1-2, so they will be battling it out. But again, the rain is coming down harder. As you can see, look at the amount of spray that is coming off these drivers. As we see DeCarmo and Gael Valero battling it out. Gael Valero trying to defend, making sure that he doesn't get passed out there on the inside. So going into this Esther. So, ooh, great battle right there, great defending as he pushes him to the outside too. So, but we've seen some of these things a little bit slippery out there. That is one thing that I will say. You do not want to touch the grass, and you want to be extremely careful when you're going onto the curbing. That curbing with all that paint on there is extremely slippery. As we see DeCarmo slipping and sliding around the track, trying to find that grip. You can see him just absolutely going everywhere as he goes into the wall. Almost goes into the wall, able to just save, man. That may be our save of the week right there. Absolutely great concentration to keep it from going into the wall.
That was exceptional. How he's not spun or hit the wall there, Bruno DeCarmo. Struggling, yes, but not hit the wall. This is Petr Zuba, your lead wet tyre runner. We have not seen Simon Demori and Peter Kwasniewski into the pits. Stops, you can see there those who have not made a stop. Fabio Zamperlini either is not. This is the battle for 12th spot between Boris Avando and Gaston Colharvi. That's going to be Avando's just ahead. There goes Kwasniewski into the pit lane. Demori carries on. So Simon obviously thinks here he can just coast around on a set of slicks going slowly and he can still win this race if there's not enough time for these guys all to catch. It's an interesting tactic. It's a gamble he's going to make. It's a gamble no one else has made apart from Fabio and Boris. They're not really fighting for much anyways. Bruno DeCarmo ahead of Pedro Dean. That's for 5th spot now. We have only the one car in the pit lane as opposed to the traffic we saw last pit window round. You can see now Petr Zuba is going to head in front. The wet tyre is significantly quicker, but it's a 36.4 second gap between Demori and between Zuba.
That too, with only about roughly 3 laps left in here. We'll see, will Simon Demori be able to hold it on those slicks? So 36-second gap, I mean, that's a decent gap. That is a lot of room to make up. But as we were seeing earlier from some of these drivers just slipping and sliding everywhere, Simon Demori is absolutely going to have to dial it in, be extremely careful. So this will be a testament of just how skilled is he on the rain with that. As we can see right there, Pedro Dean spinning out the replay in the bottom right hand, picture in picture. And that just goes to show right here, unfortunately, the rain can be absolutely brutal, especially on such a fast track out here. But luckily, he was able to hold it on the track and not, no one else ended up going into him on that. So could have been a lot worse incident right there. Unfortunate for him. But right now, we see going back in, we have about 3 people who still not gotten stopped. So Simon Demori in 1st place, Fabio Zamperlini now finding 10th place, and Ovando, who is rounding down in 12th. So back of the pack, we'll have to see. Again, strategy is always something to see. We seen that last race. We seen that nearly every single AMX 10 race as well. Strategies going on. Another spin. Oh no, Kwasniewski right there going, putting back all the way. The race, then the rain takes another victim.
Oh, there's someone else around. Bruno DeCarmo. That's a shattered GTP in the Excel Puhop. Very difficult corner in dry conditions, especially in wet conditions. And he is round and into the wall. Well, just to point out, Simon Demori, his last lap was a 2-minute 18. Petr Zuba's last lap, well, we'll see it now as he's coming up towards the line. I will keep an eye on the timing tower and see if you can see. This is Tim State being overtaken by Pedro Dean. Here's the Bruno DeCarmo spin in towards Puhon. He's just lost it. We saw him struggling in the middle sector. He's lost it, and bang, into the Armco goes Bruno DeCarmo. Not the best result here of heat number 1 for him. Pederzuba 2:17, Simon Demore 2:18. He's only a second slower on the slicks. Pederzuba has 2 laps to catch that gap, so if Pederzuba wants to win this race, he needs to catch 17 seconds a lap and pass. I think this is a Demore masterclass.
I mean, right here, just Demore coming out, taking a risk. So it was high risk, high reward out here for Demore. I would see right here between a battle going on between.
They're not going to go too wide into Wood Rouge, are they? No.
Oh, they almost did. They thought about it, but luckily, no. We have Jackson Sanchez as another spin. Looks like that may have been Vinicius Dean going and spinning off. So and another one behind them. Oh, taking him out.
It's Gaston Kilhavy who's gone round in the 4. Oh, my goodness me, there's cars all over the top of Radillon heading through turn number 5. This rain is proving troubling for these guys. It's mad, really. I don't think we've ever seen so many top iRacers spin round and crash in the same 9 laps. Let's look at this Demore. Simon Demore's just coasting, but he knows he's only got 1 more lap plus 1 sector left to go here at Spa-Francorchamps. This is an incredible feat here from Simon.
And that's you. I mean, you know that he has to be checking in on his interval between the gap between Simon Demore and Pederzuba. So he's seen right now, he has 30 seconds. So of course right now too, as he's going, a little bit wide there, getting a little bit sketchy. Now those tires are coming into play as the track is extremely wet. So many people going off, getting into the wall. Unfortunately, having to pit, and that may be their heat 1 for them. But Simon Demore, he pushes on through the rain, as now it does look like the white flag is flying. Simon Demore, your leader of heat number 1, did not pit, did not get the wet tires. He said, I don't need those. I can handle enough of the rain in this. So just showing how comfortable he is with the wet track.
Yeah, Pederzuba lapping very well this lap. It was a 2:28 for Simon Demore the last time round. We'll get Zuba as he crosses the line shortly. I believe he's lapping in the it's 2:19 for Zuba, so it's a 9-second gain for Petter. We said he needed 17, but remember this one's going to be a much slower lap from Simon Demore again. It's a 38.0 in the first sector. Oh, look how early he's braking is Simon Demore. Oh no, he's gone! It's a disconnect issue for the leader. Simon Demore will not win what was looking like one of the best performances in AMX history. Pederzuba has been handed glory here in Spa-Francorchamps. Wow.
Oh, and just like that, absolutely heartbreaking for Simon Demore. Just to be in the lead, to have that high risk, high reward, not going into the pits when everyone else went in, to hold that lead on slicks in the rain, only to disconnect at the very last lap when victory was in his sights. Man, we're going to have to see just what's going on after. We might see if we have to get a comment from him just to see if something happened, because he did not drop out. We seen his driver cam was still on, so it wasn't like his internet or power completely went out. It was just something going on with iRacing, and man, absolute heartbreak. But also Pederzuba wanting to get this win, but as a driver, a lot of stuff, you'll take a win. A win is a win, but unfortunately you always want it to be battling it out and overcoming those drivers in first. So man, just at a loss for words again. Unexpected events all day long out here at Spa.
Yeah, that's heartbreaking for Simon. That's heartbreaking for those who were witnessing an absolute masterclass. Oh, look at this from Jackson Resenje. Speaking of masterclasses, he's trying to get past Pedro Dean, maybe the more experienced Resenje against the younger Dean. But oh no, as I say that, tank slapper for Resenje heading in towards Stavalo of turn number 15. He'll have to make a brave move around the outside if he wants to try and win this one. Oh, just running wide through the curve. Paul Frey, the Acura's all over the road, but still into the slipstream. He can barely see the car in front with the spray heading in towards Blanchimont. But here comes Pederzuba, 18.9 second win. You never see that in AMX. And oh, there's someone gone off. That is Jackson, who's gone way off there through Blanchimont. He'll be able to get past now. And that will be Pedro Dean, who'll come home in second, bearing any mistake through this final part of the bus stop chicane. This is Boris Savando, who's looking to get past Fabio Zamperlini in towards the bus stop. What a hectic race. This was absolute brilliant entertainment. biblical scenes here in Spa-Francorchamps, but Peter Zuba takes home what is pretty much Simon de Mori's win.
All right, they're just crazy turn of events the entire time. Of course, all the way through to the checkered flag, as it looks like Tim State has a lot of wheels. He's going to be crossing the finish line, hopefully, with tons of damage right there. So, good job for State. Unfortunately, having an incident. His whole front is gone right there, too. So, Tim State slowly coming across. You only need 3 wheels anyways. Who needs 4 wheels? 4 wheels are overrated. All you need is 3. But, like we were saying, unfortunately, hopefully Simon de Mori is able to join us in heat number 2, as right now that disconnect did put him back into 12th place. So with the reverse grid, he would be able to get back onto that pole position and be back out here in heat number 2. But again, we will just have to wait and see exactly what's happening. We know that is one of the most frustrating things that can happen. A win basically taken from you due to a technicality, due to a technical issue, nothing of his own. So we'll have to check in with them again, as this is a great onboard lap. I mean, Evan, this would be such a great
we have
track guide right
lives
now
to
with
live
Brooke
tomorrow.
Field.
Well, this is about the quickest he can go. Number 10. It's had better days, I think. Crash damage, not the newest thing to people at Spa-Francorchamps. First lap crash in the 1998 Belgian Grand Prix caused $13 million worth of damage. I don't think that's $13 million, but it's still probably not a fee that... Oh, he's not even come home last. He's come home ahead of Gaston Kilhavy, who's celebrating. Tim State, with literally 2 rear wheels, has come home in 9th. That's very impressive from Tim. But your BenQ session winner! There's only one man for it. That is the man who qualified on pole. Started 12th, and will start from 12th again in the next race. But he won this one. That's Peter Zuba. Very impressive from him, Kevin.
Yeah, Peter Zuba, like we said, qualified number 1 position, able to fight his way all the way through the grid. He did take that pit stop, get his tires changed, and he was looking to reel in Simon de Mori, and then he ended up getting first place due to an unfortunate connection. But here we have, like you said, it looks like he might have ran off real quick in between heats, but Peter Zuba in first place, your winner, followed by second place Pedro Dean, third place Jackson Asenge, in fourth place Fabio Zamperlini, fifth place Boris Ovando. Coming in sixth, we have Vinicius Dean. Seventh place Gael Valero. Eighth, Peter Kwasniewski. In ninth place, Tim State, who is coming across the line, like we said, only 3 wheels. 10th place, Gaston Kulavi. 11th, Simon Demaro. And in 12th place, Bruno De Carmo, with your fastest lap being set by Pedro Dean. So we've seen that Simon Demori was out early, or not early on, but during that last lap, not even getting to get all the way through his final lap before he disconnected. But we'll have to see again how that will score on the total points. Hopefully he doesn't walk out of here with nothing from that race. And we'll have to see now, as looks like Bruno De Carmo is in pole position, followed by Simon Demori in second place. But I do not see the number 5 right now from this camera angle. So we'll have to see, looking towards the front of the grid, if Simon Demori... all right, so does look like, looking up the timing now, Simon Demori and Bruno De Carmo are switching back and forth. So unfortunate first heat. We will see, as looks like the sun is slowly coming out in heat number 2. Will that... Oh, spinning already from some of the people. Okay, so he's back. Crazy heat 1. What can we expect, Evan, from heat number 2?
We can expect carnage. You can see Simon there in the Mayor Shank Racing car, not Chip Ganassi, Mayor Shank Racing. He is going to be looking for revenge this time round, as that's already a bit of a moment from the pole sitter. That is Bruno De Carmo, who has a bit of a spin, and it'll be Simon Demori to lead us away for the last time in Belgium. We go racing in AMX 10. Oh my goodness me. Foreshadowing, or what? We said it would be carnage. That's now 4 cars who've gone round in the rain. Simon Demori leads ahead of Bruno De Carmo and Gaston Kilhavy. Tim State having some problems in the background. But my oh my, is this a dramatic start to the final race here of Season 4 in AMX, and that's going to be DeCarmo straight onto Carmo, bang into the wall, he's out, and that is also Demore. Oh my goodness me, there's about 4 cars everywhere, there's about 2 survivors. This is truly madness here at Spa-Francorchamps. It's the champion, Gael Valero, going for the race lead in the wet. No, Kulhavi will lead it. That is insane. What a dramatic start to the race.
I mean, when you said that there was going to be carnage, I did not expect it to be to that level. That, like you just said, absolutely insane, as that puts about 5 of our drivers having to head to the pits right away, get towed out there. So unfortunately, especially unfortunate for Simon Demore, who disconnected last race and now got into an accident and is in the pit. So that may be his race as well. But good thing we still have a battle going on between Kulhavi and Gael Valero. We'll have to see. One thing I'm not too sure of is if these drivers were able to change their tire sets during heat number 1 and heat number 2. Are they on their wets? Are they on their slicks? I mean, we'll just have to get confirmation later on. But the replay of the crash at the start, oh no! Right there, just looks like he got into the power a little bit too hard and just sent it into the wall, coming back, bouncing onto the track, taking out another car right there. 2, 3 cars. Does that look like 4 cars right there at the very beginning? Ouch. Not the best start, but again, that's what you can expect out here in the rain at Spa, as Kulhavi spins out right now. That leaves room for Ovando to start catching up. Kulhavi losing the lead to Ovando right now, maybe dropping back another place, as Pedro Dean able to get back into 2nd place.
But Gaston Kulhavi spins round the race lead. I was just about to compliment how well he was doing, but he spun round. Boris Ovando leads here in Spa-Francorchamps. I did not think I'd be saying that after the last race, but Boris does it. Pedro Dean 2nd, Petr Zubev 3rd. He's the easiest cut through the field anyone's ever had this season in one of these reverse races. It's chaos here on lap number 1. There's 4 cars in the pit lane. DeCarmo, Mori, State, Rasenje. There is 8 out on the track. There's going to be a very chaotic 10 laps if that first one's anything to go by. Petr Zubev in 3rd. He's looking to try and get past Pedro Dean, heading down the Kemmel Straight, or heading up Eau Rouge, down the Kemmel Straight, I should say. But Boris Ovando does lead it. 7 spots gained for Boris, 9 for Dean, 9 for Zuba. Oh, that's going to be another car round heading through. That's two cars round. That's 3 cars round again, heading through Eau Rouge and Radion. Gaston Kulhavi leads again here in Spa-Francorchamps. The drivers cannot do one sector without spinning. This is obscene.
I mean, we can see right there from Gaston Kulhavi. I mean, as unfortunate as to see all this carnage going on, you just see, like, he has a smile on his face. He can't believe it. It just seems comical of just how crazy this race is going. As we can see now, oh, chat saying, looks like a few people may have connected to Gael Valero. Not in the pits. Does look like we have seen how, so we'll have to catch up with some of these drivers. It just insane tournament. We are only 2 laps into heat number 1 as Pedro Dean. It's the same thing as Kim State going on, having one of his tires only needed to go 3 tires in through the rest of the laps. So I can't tell if it's a flat tire or if he just has some damage to the suspension, but nonetheless, he will have to pit and get that repaired if he wants to keep a very to keep a competitive time. But I mean, it's still crazy because half these drivers are still in the pits. So right now we have a battle going on between Kulhavi and Petr Zuba. Petr Zuba door to door right now, so we'll see who gets the better of right here as we go through the inside. Oh no, it does look like Kulhavi still able to hold off. So right there, Petr Zuba, Kulhavi door to door. This is what it's going. Oh, a little bit sideways. So in the rain, that door to door is so dangerous, as we've seen earlier. But these drivers, they don't care. They say, you know what? If I'm going to go for the win, I'm going to go out in style. I'm going to give it everything I got. And we'll see as Petr Zuba coming out on top of that battle over Gaston Kulhavi.
There's 5 drivers out on the track, 1 coming out of the pit lane, and it's still the same leader, Petr Zuba, who got not for long. Hits the puddles. Look at competitors' facial expressions. You can physically hear the panic excitement in my voice. Peter doesn't even look phased. Literally, he doesn't even look phased. That's mental how composed he is under these conditions. It's Zuba versus Kulhavi for the race lead. We're 3 laps into one of the maddest AMX races of all time. It's a fitting conclusion to what's been a brilliant season. We have a lot more coming out on track now. We have a lot more a lap down. This is crazy.
I mean, we couldn't ask for a more entertaining finale. As we see right there in the bottom left, Damori and DeCarmo, both of them looked like similar, just taking too much speed in there and going to the wall, coming back onto the track, and just a slip through right there. But unfortunately, like we've seen, that didn't last too long, as I believe there was 3 drivers in that incident that ended up getting into the wall, getting crashed. But now it looks like pretty much most of our drivers are back onto the track, so we'll have to see if we get some lap traffic. That should make things interesting again for the battle going on between Zuba and Kulavi. So Zuba, Kulavi, lap 3, it seems like this race has already gone on forever, just with all of the events going on, with all of the carnage, all of the off tracks and into the walls we've seen. It seems like we've been here at least double the laps that we have so far.
Yeah, we've had 3 laps. We've had 3 laps. This is enough drama for a lifetime. As you can see, Kulhavi just fishing at the wheel, trying to keep it straight and keep it through the corners. Straight carnage, someone says in the stream chat. Yeah, when I said it was going to be carnage before, I didn't mean this. This is mental. There's only 4 drivers on the lead lap. There's only 4 drivers on the lead lap after 3 laps at Spa. A 7.004 kilometer circuit, a 4.3 mile circuit with 20 corners and over 2-minute lap time. There's 4 drivers on the lead lap. I can't express enough how crazy this season finale is here in AMX. I'd say Guile is very thankful he's crowned a champion, because this would be a very difficult way to win a championship. Here is the Fabio Zamperlini Tin State incident. Oh, that's a dramatic one. That's a big big crash, Kev.
Yeah, just right there, like we said. You called it. I don't know. I mean, some people say the commentators curse whenever we say things are going so well until they don't. But I mean, right there, what do you call it whenever, we say there's going to be carnage and there's absolute carnage? Maybe not to the magnitude that we expected, but again, this is iRacing in the rain, as Peter Zuba, just setting the fastest lap of 2-minute 24.38. So he's a little bit more than a second faster than Kulabi too. So we should expect Peter Zuba to start pulling away slowly if he keeps driving like he is. But like we said, now that all of these drivers are out of the pits, they are about to come up onto lap traffic. So from watching multi-class car races, watching other races, or even climbing up just on random iRaces, once you have that lap traffic, again, anything can happen. So add a little bit of rain to that, and again, it's just organized chaos going out here. So we see the flashing of the lights. Kulabi letting him know, hey man, I'm coming up on you quick. Please get out of the way. I don't want to end up in another accident.
Yes, it's going to be a lot longer than 20 minutes. I can promise you that as well, because there's 2-minute 20 laps. We're 4 laps in out of the 10. But you never really want this to end, do you? This is the biggest field disbursements, I'd say, we've ever had in AMX 10, as well as that's another car round. That's the 2. That is Peter Kwasniewski, who's gone round in the DRS black and white car. That is that's the Acura that has gone round. The Acura has a chassis built by Orica. It's going to have a lot more chassis built by Orica, because a lot of them have been destroyed so far in this race. That's State gone round. That's a big one for Tim State. He recovers it nicely. Well done, Tim State. That's a nice slick recovery. He was a smooth operator, as Carlos Sainz would say. Here's the Boris Ovando incident. Oh, big one. That's a big one. Heading in towards Eau Rouge and Radillon, and he hit the other wall as well. Boris Ovando currently in 6th. He was in the lead of the race at the time, and still picking up some good points, mind you. This is definitely one of the most difficult conditions I've seen, though. These GTPs in the wet is not the most fun, maybe, Kevin?
I mean, GTP cars, all right, they're fun. But again, when you have that much horsepower and the roads are this slick, it's just, all right, you want to push as hard as you can. So it's that fine line between how hard can I push without hitting these puddles, without sliding off into the wall, without sliding into other drivers. As we can see right now, some of these battles, thankfully, these guys, they're still pushing as hard as they can in the back, as we're seeing from the front bumper cam of Kim State trying to catch Pozniowski. So these guys, we are 5 laps in. As we can see right there, Zamperlini on the bottom right-hand corner, that replay, he just took that corner a little bit too hot, may have hit a bit of a puddle, slid around, did a little bit of a 360 reverse entry, but we're not out here at Formula Drift. We're out here in GTP cars, so that could have been a little bit worse. Thankfully, he did not crash into the wall during that incident. But right now, we see back to your leader, Petr Zuba, who has about a 3-second lead over Kulavi. So like I said earlier, we've seen him being just slightly faster, and now he's able to slowly start pulling away. So Petr Zuba, as long as he doesn't make a mistake, will be able to look like get that triple crown today. So right now, back to the other driver. So we can see it does, again, like you mentioned earlier, just with those pit stops from those incidents earlier, we only have about 5 drivers right now on the lead lap, and everyone else sitting back down at least a lap down. So unfortunately for some of these guys, and it does look like so sad for Simon Demori. Very unfortunate. It looks like, I'm looking at the timing now, down 4 laps, so that does mean he is pretty much out of this race. So man, looking so good for Simon Demori into heat number 1. Not switching to the wet tires, leading the race. He was looking on the final lap, going in, had the race in the bag, and had some issues where he disconnected. And now, unfortunately, in heat number 2, he will not be finishing this race as well. So just absolute madness all day long out here. But again, this is more of what we can expect for for season number 5. We're going to have more races in the rain. We're going to have more drivers out here coming in. We're going to have more champs trying to defend their titles. We're going to have a lot of chaos, a lot of tears, a lot of joy, everything to be expected. I expect season 5 to be just like season 4, but we're going to amp it up a little more, especially with the introduction of our AMX 20 Enduro races. So we're going to have a little bit longer races, shake things up a bit, and these drivers will be able to compete in multiple classes at the same time. So this season, we decided, as Hal Valer getting a little bit sketchy right there, but this season was one of the rules that you could only compete in 1 race per day. So we're getting rid of that. We're going to have as many racers as we can get on the grid, fighting for multiple championships, multiple classes. Absolutely going to be great next season. Can't wait.
Yeah, going to be very good. Lap times improving here. Petr Zuba is just to the 2:19. He's now 14 seconds ahead of Gaston Gulhavi. There's Jackson Resenje. He's a lone warrior in the pit lane, getting a bit of damage repairs as we slowly zoom in. The more we zoom in, the worse the damage gets on that car for Jackson Resenje. The BMW, of course, the BMW M Hybrid V8 built by Dallara, hopefully being repaired by Dallara. It has 1,030 kg weight. I'd say it's at about the 800 mark, just looking at that damage that's fallen off it. Lap 6 and 10 though, Petr Zuba has really shown his class here. He's the one to watch in AMX Season 5, because my goodness me, has he been impressive in these GT3 cars.
As we can see right now again, so Petr Zuba able to get that gap all the way up to 16 seconds now, but as soon as I say that, he goes off track, able to save it. Oh, got a little bit, but that too, just absolutely stone face right there. That didn't affect him at all. We're out here seeing of getting him a little loose, but he knows what he's doing out here on the track. That is why he's looking like 18 seconds in the lead now too. So, I mean, the absolute chaos going on out here. It is not affecting Petr Zuba in the slightest. Like we said, top in qualifying, was able to get first place in heat number 1. And if he keeps this up, he will look like getting top into first place on heat number 2 and getting our triple crown of the day. So we'll have to just wait and see right here as Kulavi. We'll see now too as the sun comes out. It looks like the track is slowly starting to dry up. So right now, 6 laps in, of course. If these guys are on wet tires and they're still trying to get through it, those tires will get eaten up as soon as the track starts drying. So we'll have to see, as there's not as much mist coming off the track as there was even 1 lap ago. So we'll have to see as we go into lap number 7, our heat number 2. Petr Zuba able to get his time down to 2 minutes 21 seconds. So about 4 seconds faster than we were just a few laps ago.
Yeah, you can just see Petter just sliding it off the corners. Cool as a cucumber. Really excellent performance from him. This is the battle for fifth between... this is the battle for fourth, sorry, between Fabio Zampolini and Pedro Dean. The two Brazilians. Currently a Brazilian 3-4-5, but Vinicius Dean is 38 seconds up the road. This is almost feels like an endurance race, looking at the gaps. I think the 6 hours of Imola today hit similar gaps at the World Endurance Championship. I'm sure the IMSA race at Long Beach later on tonight will have similar gaps. I didn't expect AMX 10 to have gaps like this, but that's what you get when you get the rain in these sort of races. But honestly, I don't think there was a better way to round off this season. We have interviews coming up after, of course, folks. We still got some fabulous laps here. And speaking of fabulous, Mr. Fabulous, Zampolini, purple in Sector 4. Very good times there for him. The lap times are improving. And I think we will see the lap times constantly increase, or constantly decrease, I should say, for the rest of the race.
So that right there, as we can see the track drying up, these drivers getting a little bit more comfortable back in the race. So, you know, still being very cautious, because like we've seen, when we have half of the grid end up wrecking and having to go into the pits for repairs, that absolutely messes with your head a little bit, whether you were caught up in that or whether you were able to slip on through. Right now we see Zampolini looking like he's able to pick up his pace just a little bit, as now Peter Zuba had about 15-second lead and now able to get it up to a 21-second lead between Peter Zuba and second place of Gaston Kulavi, and also another roughly 20-second between second and third as well. So, like you mentioned,
we're going to go to a full screen replay, I think, as Peter Zuba, you can just see sliding his way through the corners. It's a BenQ replay then. This is heading through Eau Rouge. Oh. That's the last thing you want through that corner. Grandstand patrons to the left-hand side. Oh my goodness me. Seeing a smashed GTP. That's the number 8 heading through there. And oh my goodness. Sorry, the number 7, apologies, not the number 8. That's Jackson Rosenje's car. We were making jokes about what happened to that BMW. That's exactly what happened there. Big thanks to all behind the scenes for that replay. Yeah, that is not necessarily what you want to happen to your car, Kevin.
Yeah, and driving in some of these races, you know, I haven't been in AMX 10 this season, but participating in the AMX 1 NASCAR, plenty of people out there know, whether you've been a commentator, a driver, or a viewer, that I have my fair share of experience being on that BenQ replay screen right there. And you know, I mean, I thought I might have had the crash of the season whenever we had the 1987 NASCAR at Talladega, flying through the air, going over Villarreal. But I mean, today I might be losing that crown to some of these guys. There were some pretty gnarly crashes out there today. And for everyone out there, especially make sure to stay tuned to our social media, because there's so much replay material here. There's so much going on that happened that I'm sure it's going to be days and probably, you know, even over an hour worth of footage that we could probably go through and have highlights of. So make sure to get on all of our social media, follow us there. Again, we'll be updating more about our season 5 of AMX. Big thing that, you know, you're mentioning earlier, this does look like a bit of an endurance race, especially with these cars going on at Spa. Spa 24, I know, usually goes in real life this year. Going to be June 26th through the 30th, and also iRacing has their own special events. But like we said, AMX 20 Enduro, we're going to be looking to spice things up next season, and what usually gets a $500 prize pool here in AMX 10, AMX 20, we're doubling that with a $1,000 prize pool for our AMX 20 Enduro races. So upping the ante a little bit, a bigger prize purse for these drivers to win. It's going to be a little bit more difficult races, and especially when we have tracks like this with unexpected weather, expect the unexpected. Coming season 5, AMX 20, a new class. I'm absolutely excited about it. But back to today, we are on lap 9 of 10. As we can see, still some gaps, but it looks like Kwasniewski is only a couple seconds above Tim State. So right there too, we'll see if Tim State is able to reel it in and gain another place there. But right now, man, I did not see this coming at all, of this being how our race turned out for AMX 10. But again, we will say it again and again, iRacing in the rain, anything happens. Simon DeMori, unfortunately out of the race. Peter Zuba coming in with the Triple Crown, able to take advantage of all the stuff, pull away from the other drivers. But we'll have to see. We're moments away from the white flag out here, heat number 2 at Spa.
Very wide from Vinicius Dean, who is a couple of seconds behind Gaston Kohavi. This is the Jackson Resenji second incident. His mechanics are not going to be very happy with him. I can tell you that for free. Although he got it corrected the right way round. And he kind of broke laws of physics. Heading... Oh, no, it's spun again. I don't think it's been Jackson's best race. But whether that was through fault of his own, there's a slow Tim State up in front of Vinicius Dean. Vinicius flashing the lights, just letting Tim know he's there. But Jackson, oh, did he spin in the pit lane as well? He definitely hit the wall, but it's not been Jackson or Jackson's car's best race, I think. Jackson Mercedes had a fabulous time this season in AMX, but maybe not the way he wants to round it off. Peter Zuba, I would say, over the 2 races, has the biggest aggregate race win time of all time. That's, of course, could be a commentator's curse because we still do have a lap to go, but we're almost finished for season 4. Certainly, I say this is up there for the most carnage, definitely.
Oh, absolutely. I definitely say this probably was the most carnage out of any race that we've had so far. And I was just noticing on the timing screen, looks like Gael Valero is out a little bit, so we'll have to see what happened there. He was catching up to Tim State. We see them both getting lapped earlier on, but now it does look like Gael Valero. So if he may be having some connection issues earlier too, I seen a little bit during Heat 1. There was a couple times that he was blinking in and out of existence, so he may very well be out of this Heat number 2, off to the Shadow Realm. But right now, we're back with Boris Ovando, who is able to hold on to a 6th place right now as we are in the last lap. Lap 10 of 10 out here at Spa. So Peter Zuba Hulavi, your 1st and 2nd place, followed by Vinicius Dean in 3rd place. As long as they can keep it clean, that looks like we're going to have your top 3 right there.
Here is Peter Zuba then, heading for the Lake Holmes chicane for the last lap of AMX Season 4. Heading in towards Malmedy. He has driven absolutely exceptional, and I think this is a performance to round off what has been a season full of great performances. Roman Pascucci at Daytona, Gael Valero at Daytona, had some fabulous races in ACC, Imran Zuhali at Belgium. To start the season, a great performance today by Simon Seminara and Lois Vichner, of course, in the ACC Championship. Max Verstappen at Mugello, another fabulous race. Chris Lullum at Mugello, another fabulous race. We have had a lot of brilliant memories made in AMX Season 4. I think that's safe to say. We have had a lot of amazing moments, a lot of fantastic races, a lot of brilliant events, but there'll be many more to come. That's for sure in Season 5. The guys behind the scenes are working around the clock to provide you with the best racing experience, the best entertainment experience, although having me in the broadcast probably says different, but the best series, the best organisation possible. And Peter Zuma leading home a 35-second lead goes to show the calibre of driver available here in AMX Season 4. That's only getting better for Season 5, but to round us off with a 3-month championship, Peter Zuba leads home the chaos here in AMX 10, and he wins the final race of the series, and he takes the fastest lap while doing so. It's the max for Peter Zuba, except the fastest lap in heat number 1. He's taken max in everything else. What a way to round us off. That is, I suppose, poetic justice. A chaotic season rounded off with a chaotic race.
And of course, if that's anything of a preview of what we're going to see in Season 5, I'd say this is the best preview that we can get of just the absolute upsets going on. We had our championship winner of Gael Valero, who unfortunately was falling back to the pack, so not having the best race out here today. But nonetheless, he is your champion and today's winner, Petter Zuba. Big congratulations to Zuba getting the triple crown of the day, and that meaning he was first in qualifying, he was first in heat number 1, and of course, he was first place out here in heat number 2. Great wrap up to our season as we see the other drivers coming across the checkered flag. You see a lot of smiles on these guys' face, a lot of relief, but nonetheless, I know in the back of the head of all of these drivers, they're ready for season 5. I know we're ready for season 5 as commentators. Of course, it's going to take a little bit of a break. I believe we're going to be, maybe just a few weeks out. So not too long of a break for everyone out there. But again, please, please, please follow us on all of our socials. Follow us on our AMX Discord to be the first to know what is going on with all of the news for season 5. But right now, Ovando looking to come across. So some of these people, it looks like chat saying too that iRacing has some disconnect issues right now in the rain. So I mean, I know they've been patching up iRacing quite a bit lately. Every time you introduce such a huge new feature to a game or to the sim here, it is always bound to have bugs every now and then. So hopefully by the time we get season 5, iRacing is able to iron out a lot of these little bugs that we've had here and there. But we have right now, DeCarmo looks like the last person to finish across. And that will wrap up heat number 2. Big congratulations to Petter Zuba.
Huge congratulations to Petter Zuba, who we will hear from after we show you our final results. But Spa has provided us with the goods once again. Your BenQ session winner, your fastest lap taker is Petter Zuba. Gaston Colhavi takes second in the 4. It is Vinicius Dean then in third, followed by fellow Brazilian and brother Pedro Dean. Then it was Boris Ovando in 5th, Fabio Zamperlini in 6th, Bruno De Carmo in 7th. I'm not sure how he finished 7th because I think I saw him in the wall about 4 or 5 times. Then it was Peter Brozlewski in 8th. Then it was Tim State 9th, Jackson Resenje in 10th, Gael Valero in 11th, Simon Demori in 12th. That's it. That's the final racetrack we'll see for a couple of weeks here in AMX Season 4, but a fabulous one at that. We're going to have a couple of interviews which will be coming up shortly, but quickly, Kevin, how could you sum up the action here at Spa?
I mean, one word can absolutely sum up what we've seen today, and that was just carnage. We've seen the rain doing what the rain does, taking out drivers left and right. It was dry during qualifying. During heat number 1, it started sprinkling, and then about halfway through, just absolute downpour. Some people went into the pits to get their wet tires on. Simone de Mori did not go into the pits and kept on the slicks, but unfortunately, on the final lap of heat number 1, Simone de Mori had an unfortunate disconnect, which put him out of the race, put him out of contention after such a great run. And then into heat number 2, the rain was still pouring down as we had crazy amounts of incidents on the first lap. People at the very start, even people before the start, starting to lose grip, spinning out on the green flag, taking everyone out, taking people out on corner number 1, corner number 2, going out of the straightaway, spinning out. So it's just absolute carnage today, but also some absolute great opportunities were taken from that.
Yes, absolute fabulous opportunities here, and a reminder, amxrace.com for all the Season 5 information. We did a little bit at the start of our broadcast here, so you can go back and check out that as well. So I do believe we are ready for an interview. We're going to hear from the man who took the clean sweep, Mr. Petter Zuba. Hello, Petter, can you hear me?
Hello, Ivan. Yes, loud and clear.
Congratulations. That's a fabulous way to end the season. Clean sweep, pole, heat 1, heat 2. Are you happy with how that ended?
Absolutely, yes. I've had so much fun in this one. I really like this combo, and also the rain spiced it up. It was a lot of fun. I also had pretty good pace, even in the wet. So, really happy. Very good race.
You're very quick in GTP cars. Is it safe to say they're one of your favourites?
Well, the field was rather small, so it was a bit of an easier task today. but I wouldn't overestimate myself on the big picture. But I think smart and efficient racing today got me the wins.
Rain was a big factor today. It's a big factor in new iRaces. Was it as chaotic as it looked out on the track? Because we seen cars everywhere at the start of the second heat. We seen cars everywhere in the middle of the first heat. How did you survive, basically? Because there was a lot of others who didn't.
Yeah, it was definitely chaotic. A couple of drivers gridded with the dry tires on the second heat, which I didn't really understand why. I had to do some evasive maneuvers already at the start. And then I saw a few people going wider to Rouge. There can be a lot of standing water in the Rouge, and the car can quickly aquaplane and you just go straight and not much you can do. I even lost it myself, I think, on lap 2 or 3 and got a bit of rear end damage. So from then on I went on with a bit less rear downforce. That wasn't making it any easier. But you really had to find the grip, and you sort of need to narrow down your vision a little bit because you can't really use the rumble strips and the white lines as much because they are extremely slippery. So yeah, it was a fun task.
And then, of course, final race of Season 4 here in AMX. Will we have you back for Season 5? Have we convinced you enough?
Definitely. If you put prototypes on the calendar, I'm all for it.
Peter, thank you very much for joining me. Congratulations on a fabulous evening, and we very much look forward to hearing you after some more prototype racing in Season 5.
Thank you, Ivan. Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.
We round up Season 4, basically, Kevin. That was a great interview with Peter, and he was saying it was as chaotic out on track as it was for us here in the commentary box.
Yeah, I couldn't even imagine what's going through some of those drivers. I mean, I know, obviously, seeing some of them a little bit frustrated of what happened on the track. A little bit of them, they were just laughing while they were out there just spinning around. Like I said, it almost did seem like it was just a bit comical. Like, we couldn't have scripted something better if we tried. But nevertheless, we just had, I'd say, a great finale from both ACC and with our AMX 10 race out here in the GTP classes. You know, again, all of our viewers out there expect this, but even better, like we said, we are removing the rule of drivers only being able to compete in one class per day and also adding on new categories. So our just biggest thank you to everyone out there. Big thank you to the drivers, big thank you to the viewers, and of course, big thank you to everyone behind the scenes, making all this possible to our sponsors. So, of course, your next level champion, Gael Valero, big congratulations as well.
Yeah, huge congratulations to Gael. He didn't have the best evening here this evening. We'll be showing you the results from that in a couple of moments, but still a fabulous race nonetheless from him. Still a fabulous season, I should say, from him across the board. Really well for him. Ahead of this evening, of course, the standings look pretty much confirmed, but there was a couple of positions still to be decided. Kulhavi and Felipe, 4th and 5th, still very close. AMXRace.com, you can check them all out. They'll be updated pretty close after the race. You can check it out on all our social media channels as well. They're still posting Season 3 clips, Season 4 clips, for probably months, years, centuries, decades, as apologies, whatever is happening to my web camera. But make sure to check out all our social medias below, as that is really not having a good time with things. Make sure to check out all our social medias below as well as AMXRace.com for more information for Season 5. Kevin, have you any last words to say, really, before we go to our results and end the broadcast?
I mean, really, you know, we've mentioned it a few times during the broadcast, but again, just a quick reminder of what is planned, of the information that we can give out so far. that we've seen. Of course, AMX 20 Enduro going to be a new class, no limits on how many times a day you can race, and also with that AMX 20, we're doubling up the prize pool. So stay tuned for that. New tiers, new schedule, and of course, adding more weather changes, additional pit stops in some of the races as well. So plenty of new things coming for Season 5. But Evan, I think it's time to get into today's final results.
Here it is then. Petizuma, your winner, of course, taking the hat-trick with $94 prize money. Then it's Pedro Dean in second. Boris Vando in third. Boris surprisingly in third there, but he had a very consistent sort of day, I suppose. Fabio Zambolini in fourth. Jackson Resenge in fifth, with Vinicius Dean in sixth. Gaston Colhavi in seventh, outscoring Simon de Moris, who might take that place in the championship. Bruno De Carmo then in eighth, ahead of Peter Kwasniewski in ninth. His name I'm probably still butchering. And Gael Valero in 10th. A low for Gael, considering he's been so high up this season. But Gael, your AMX 10 champion. We crowned Lois Regner as your ACC champion earlier. And that about does us here in AMX Season 4. Fabio Zampolini, your AMX 1 champion. And then your AMX NASCAR champion, I believe, was Facundo Rago. Your AMX 1 Light Championship, Maurizio Mazzano. It's truly been a pleasure to have your viewership along with us here for AMX Season 4, and we truly hope you come back to us for Season 5. More races, more variety, more AMX. It's not to be missed. My name's been Evan Dalton. I've had Kevin Garcia alongside me to take you through this evening's action. And for the last time this season, stay safe, stay well, and we shall see you next time.